How are we doing on this fine Friday? Good to see you, Phil. Good to see you, Goldfire. Hope you're doing well. Uh, Apologies to both of you. Unfortunately, I missed a week. Both of you were in the last video, and we hit the cap, so I haven't been able to put your lists in this one. With that said, Goldfire, given that your list was shamelessly copied, your list is basically in anyway, just not under your name. Johnny Tightlips is here. Evening, evening. That's 2 words from Johnny Tightlips. That's a lot of words. That is a lot of words. I have got a slightly nicer setup going for me right now, courtesy of Ginger Steve, because my chair did break. So, it's actually a bit warm. Evening, Vesper. So, basically what happened was I was like, I feel like my chair's falling apart a little bit here. I'm sure it'll be fine. You know, what could possibly go wrong? Doing the stream on Tuesday, and it completely went. It wasn't what I thought, which was just a bolt needed replacing, because I've been leaning on that chair for 3 years, leaning sideways and leaning backwards. It caused me some issues. It definitely caused me some issues. Why is the chat not coming up on stream? Why green screen with no green screen? So this is the new setup. The green screen is so you can't see the mess behind me. And by that I mean the mirror and just like the various bits and pieces that I have. So this is just a case of, let's get the shot. Yeah, this is so I can have a background. I haven't put an actual green screen on yet. I will do that at some point. What I probably need to do is try and get this straightened out somewhere. But it's literally what I have done is put 2 stick-on, like, non-wall damage hooks over there on the wall, and 2 over there, and I've got some washing line, and I've used that washing line to make basically just a line across the entire room, and I've got a 10-foot by 10-foot green screen piece of fabric on. So that is that. I probably then need to get some more hooks so I can stretch it out tight, get a flat wall, and then find a way to lead to, what's the word I'm looking for? Light it correctly. That's the thinking there. But yeah, it's good. I've got more room instead of just having something on the back of my chair. I've got this nice one again, courtesy of Ginger Steve. Much nicer. I'd forgotten how nice it is just to sit in a chair that doesn't hurt your back. I've been using a pillow on my chair for like a year and a half. So yeah, highly improved. Thank you, that rat bastard. I'm not sure why that didn't show on stream. I think it was just waking up for a second. But while we're sat here, let's just make sure I've got alert box turned on for all rat-based needs. Evening, Beowulf. Hope you're well. See you go in the 1980s shirt button down again. We need to get you a gold chain with an animal motif to really finish the look. This is a polo. Oh no, it's not. That's a lie. Oh, you're getting a little bit more racy than intended. Yeah, this is just like I guess it is kind of like an 80s New York vague mafia button down. It fits my vibe. I'm so mafia. Let's have a look here. Steve is very generous. Steve's a fucking babe, an absolute babe. I'm doing some unrelated work for him. I was like, oh, this is good timing because my chair broke. He's like, I'll just buy you a chair. I was like, oh, I wasn't fishing. Thank you so much. Incredible. So that made things a lot easier instead of just getting another cheap one. Ed is hiding Asmongold's room behind that screen. How dare you? How dare you? I think I've made it pretty clear that I'm not a racist chud. Thank you very much. The guy for order. Yeah, high tech. Yeah, incredibly high tech. It was a faff, honestly, because I was stood on like a bedside table, like a short chest of drawers, whatever you call them, trying to like attach it to the wall over here, and then I was walking on the bed over there. I was like, this is such a faff. The wire did not want to tie very neatly. I need a gold chain and signet ring. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. PG-13. Oh, I see. Very good. Congratulations on the Beastman win. Thank you very much, Noel. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Also not American. This would be a hell of an act. Gold chain with your favorite Razor Gorilla. My favorite son. My favorite son. Yeah, that would be ideal, wouldn't it? That would be absolutely ideal. I'm getting demonetized for showing a little chest hair. I see. I have got the chest hair for to work in a 80s New York pizza joint, I guess. Or it's not showing as well. All right. Well, I think we're here to talk about some Warhammer. It feels like I haven't been doing these very frequently, and that's because I haven't. Apologies for the, interruption in the regularly streamed content. I've been busy and also struggling a bit, just to, not enthusiasm, but just struggling for energy recently. But I think I'm over my hump. I'm feeling a lot better now, which is nice. Fix my 2K null list. I'm sure there was a please in there somewhere. Maybe. Lovely stuff. Gonna submit a Slayer list, but didn't think it would be fun for anyone. But please. Yeah, the Slayer list is pretty sad. Although everyone I've talked to who is excited about it has been going, oh, I can't wait to run 20, Doomslayers or whatever they're called. Is it Doomslayers? They all have the word Slayer in, so I've forgotten the name. Some version of Slayers, anyway. You're excited. Oh, okay, great. Well, make sure you either post it in the VIP chat or, put it in for next week's Fix My List. Doomseekers. Very nice. All right. Given that you're asking about the Fix My List, so just for anyone, you might know this already, Copy Prince, but just as a reminder for anyone who is going to watch this live, watch this back, any of those good bits, the way that this works is on a Friday morning, and I'm hoping to automate it sooner rather than later, so I can just have a set time and make it nice and easy. The submissions for Fix My List open. You can then submit your lists, and there's a priority system where channel members who, haven't had their list looked at recently, as in the previous stream, get theirs looked at first priority, then general viewers who haven't had their list looked at recently, and then it goes to channel members who have had their list looked at recently, and non-channel members who have looked at their list, had their list looked recently. I do 15 lists. I have sometimes gone to 16. This is a 16 week, just because that way I could squeeze in one more that I wanted to do, to be honest. But priority does go to, basically, if you haven't had your list looked at in the last stream. We're typically over-capped here in terms of the amount of lists that come in. Noel says your favourite Razor Gore is called the Pork Chop Express. That's an excellent name. That rat bastard, I need to fix your Giselle's resin absolutely destroyed by your dog's excited tail. That is pretty rough. You got some nice 3D printed ones, have you? And I really like the ones that came with the new Skaven Age of Sigmar starter box. They're lovely models, but just a little bit of a faff to get hold of. I don't know how good they are in AOS. If they're not great, then you could probably just pick up 1 million on resin, I guess. Maybe that's something to look into as well. All right. Well, very quickly before we get into it, if you're here and you haven't already, give the stream a thumbs up, please. It helps get picked up by the algorithm, all of that good stuff. And as always, the stream is powered by you. Your generous, support does help keep me going. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to do this full time between this and the coaching. If you're interested in coaching, go to patreon.com/close order. There I do coaching at any level. I was working with someone today who was very new, working with someone who is moderately new, and then the call I did the day before is someone from an international team. So I do cover all levels of gameplay and skill. We can work on whatever you fancy going for. If you've got any questions, there is a coaching section on Discord that you can ask in there, all that good stuff. If you want to support the channel as well, you can become a channel member, and that gives you priority in terms of getting Fix My List sorted, although mostly the priority system is just make sure you're early enough in the day. That's the best way to get in, or the cheapest way to get in anyway. And if you are a Longbeard member or above, you will be able to get into the VIP section on Discord, where we have a great chat and also other bits and pieces in there. And there's the ever-present YouTube plug. Petition for the last Razor Gore to be named Oikers. As I don't know, I like that name, and I don't think a name that I like should be given to my least favorite son. There was a great name that I came up with. I've forgotten. It was just something stupid sounding, so I was calling it in frustration. Vesper, you might pay for some coaching eventually to go to events, but you're going to have to put it with Phoenix lists. Good luck. As in high elves with Phoenixes. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, like, 2 of my students now love the Ragnarok Spider. If your goal is not to win events, but it is to do as well as possible with the models that you love, that's super reasonable as well. We can work on that. Although it will, I will mildly give you shit for it if you make me put a Ragnarok Spiders into every list. Sorry, Amy. Isn't the VIP section just people verbally abusing you? And Stripey replies that it's worth every penny. It's not just that, actually. It's a lot of really nice chat that gets ruined when I stick my nose in there. I was just ruining the vibe earlier by saying don't expect anyone who comes from Age of Sigmar or 40k will know that last year they put out some free like Armies of Infamy, but for those armies, and I was saying, hey, don't expect that for Old World, because that's kind of the business model. You're a fan of naming animals after the sauce dressing seasoning you'd use on them. That is, I don't know, slightly sociopathic, rat bastard, but feels fitting for my least favourite child. A lamb called mint sauce, yeah. The Phoenix is a punishment for a past life lived wrong. For you or for me? Because if it's for me, it might just be a current life lived wrong. That might be the, what we're going with there. Can you hear that, by the way? Moving my chair arms. I don't really need to move them, but I need to know if it's annoying or not. I should stop doing that. Alrighty then. Okay, so let's go and fix some of those darn tootin' lists. Who have we got? Yeah, okay, I think you require self-punishment. That's fair. Pestigar Enjoyer. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's start off. I've seen him in chat. Johnny Tightlips, Beastman, for the square-based comp. So this is 2,200 points to fit into 2,000 point square-based comp. So this still has to compete with things in the top bracket, but it does have a little bit more wiggle room. So given that there is Beastman, a bit of a Beastman theme to the channel at the moment, let's have a look. Here. So this is, you said your regular opponent isn't very competitive. That's super fair. Just starting off, like all of the things that I'm seeing in here, just at a glance, all good. Dragon Ogres are good. I like 3. I think I want to try 4 on the Dragon Ogres, but I think it might be too much. So 2 units of 3 feels pretty solid. Herdstone is, I think, basically required for Beastmen. They're so good. Double Gigantic Spawn of Chaos. These things are incredible. I've got a tournament, not this weekend coming, but next weekend, and I'm thinking about potentially just doing Grand Army Beastmen. It's not going to be a super high attendance tournament. I don't really want to sweat to make, get an entire new army painted for next week. I've done it now like 3 times, or well, I guess 2.5 times over the last month and a half. I'm a little burnt out on doing some very fast painting, so I might just add a few bits, like a couple of gigantic spawn. I ordered, I think there were some frogs on Etsy, some big demonic looking frogs that I want to use as gigantic spawn. It cost me about 35 quid for the pair of them plus shipping, so much more economical than getting the actual Games Workshop ones. So yeah, everything here, special and rare, is good. We've got 34 Gore, Great Weapons, Banner of Outrage, Musician. Yep, that's good. Ongo, short bows. These 15 upsets me slightly. I'd like to see 16. Just slight protection from um the issues that you can have with panic. It's not huge. Triple raise score. 3. I think 3 feels right. When I ran 4, that felt a little over what I needed. And then we've got a Wargore with no armor. Oh, heavy chaos armor. So we've got a 3-up save in combat because the heavy chaos armor, the shield, and the hand weapon. Got slug skin to be -1 to hit and for the unit as well. And then the BSB has the beast banner. And I can't remember what this one does. Is it frenzy? It's something violent, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's the charge roll one. Okay, I like this in Grand Army. I do really like this. You've also gone for the Doom Bull. So this is a very tanky Doom Bull. We've got Gouged Tusks and Gnarled Hide with a Scimitar of Skulltar and a full plate Chaos Armor and a shield. So for anyone who doesn't speak Beastman, Doom Bull is just an unbelievable stat stick. Look at this. Strength 6 base, toughness 5, wounds 5, initiative 5, attacks 5, weapon skill 6. It's good enough. So it's a real beefcake. The leadership's not great, but you're going to put it in the unit. It's got warband, so it's going to get up to leadership 10. All that good stuff. So the Scimitar of Skulltar is a really cool item that I like, but maybe I would tweak this build. Let's have a think. So you're going to be Strength 6, AP 1, becoming AP 2 from Gouged Tusks. That's an upgrade that gives you +1 AP on your attacks. Armor Bane 1, multiple wounds 2. And Gnarled Hide gets you to a 2-up save, and you've got a 5-up ward save. It doesn't give you, it doesn't give you Armor Bane as well. So I really like this, but there's just no way of getting. So the Black Maul. Or the blackened maul? The black maul. The black maul's so good. I'd love to see this on it. In 1.5, I feel like we're moving away from multiple wounds being the way to go and moving towards lots of attacks at high, like good strength, good AP being more valuable. But there's no way to take this and also have a proper ward save. So I think this is fine. I'd maybe be tempted just to say fuck it. Go buy the heavy armor here. Is there anything that we can get for 25? It's 25 for blackened plate. Fur of Shargoose against shooting, right? Yeah, so maybe like this is good. I want to try, and I'm not recommending you try, that I go blackened plate and then just like a charmed shield, and you only get to a 3-up save, which is obviously not as good, but you hit real hard. Black Maul would be sick. Yeah, I think I like what you've got here. I think this is right. But, just to sketch out what that looks like, if we take off these two, go this, go a charmed shield, and then go heavy armor, get rid of this shield. So that puts us 20 points over. So we just need to clear 20 points, which we can do from core super easily. And the level 4 is full plate chaos armor, Hagtree fetish demonology. This I think so. The full plate's cool. I think you're mostly taking this for the ward save. You could just shave 10 points here, and it's nice to have the extra +1 armor save, but I feel like the things that are going into you that like have a real risk of killing you anyway, it's going to be like lancers and great weapons. So you've only got a 6-up armor save, or if they roll 6s, you don't have any armor save. So maybe you just don't bother, and instead you go with a single power scroll, because there's going to be a turn that you really want to get that Vile Tide off into the dragon that's got, magic resist 2 or something like that. So I think just a single power scroll here and downgrade the heavy chaos armor feels better. Also, I'm assuming that you're going to be in the unit. I'd like to see Pelt of Midnight. Just -1 to be shot is really strong. And this way you've just got a real solid Death Star that's hard to mess with. Okay. Then we have to shave some points. 65 points. How do we do that? How do we do that? Do you like the axes of Korgor? I think they're fine, right? Let's remind ourselves how they look, because the axes are they strength user AP strength? Okay, strength 7. Oh, okay. For 40 points, we could go with the full plate chaos armor with this. So you get the ward save, and then you could still have a 3-up save. Maybe this is better. So this gets you to a 6th attack at strength 7, AP 2. Strength 7, AP 3. I actually do like the Axis of Korgor. The Black and Maul's great, but I think we're giving up too much. Maybe this is the sort of the path to greatness that we can go along. Good suggestion. Let's get rid of this Charm Shield. We don't need it. Let's get rid of that. And then we're only 54 points over. Reroll ones. So, rerolling ones, it's to wound, right? The Axis of Korgor. So this is cool, but because you got the Herdstone, you're already going to be rerolling ones to wound. Yeah. Slug Skin is in the Unit 2 on the Walker. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is like... This is a great loadout. And I really like the extra charge range there. But I think even with like the doubling up of the reroll ones to wound, I think this just feels solid. Like, that's a beefy, beefy boy. Now, the question becomes, how do we make this work? I wonder, losing a unit of Dragon Ogres feels a bit rough. But we're 54 points over. Is it maybe just we drop a Razor Gore? 3 is nice, but you could probably just go to 2 and then go down to like... So you want to be 6 by 6 with this unit, I think. So you're taking up 4, 5, 6 spots. So you want to be 30 models, right? So if you go to there, and that way you're not in marching column accidentally. So then we can go... Make them both 16. Give one of the units ambushes. It doesn't have to go in ambush, but it's... Oh, no, we're 18 points missing. How have I managed that? That's really annoying. 18 points missing. God damn it. So we have to take from somewhere. If you're playing general, maybe... Because this list can deal with wizards. Not with wizards, with dragons. Maybe you just drop the Power Scroll. The Power Scroll's really nice, but just in terms of making it all fit, Hagtree Fetish is really important. Heavy Chaos Armor is really important. I think the -1 to be shot is really important. But if you're not playing into shooting armies, you can drop the Pelt of Midnight for a Power Scroll. Yeah. Yeah, let's say this is the way forwards, and then we need to put 20 more points in, which... I mean, how are we doing this? I don't really want to increase this. This list doesn't really care for Scourge the Burdened. It's a great item, but you don't need it here. It is great, but not necessary. Do you have Magic Res on the Gore Brick? You know what? We don't, actually. That's a really good shout. I don't typically run it, but then I was running so many wizards that it felt super not necessary. But Magic Resist here feels pretty good. Alright, yeah. I like that. I like that. So let's go with that, and yeah, the 2,000 point list that I've got next weekend, I am tempted to start trying something a little bit similar. I don't think that it's necessarily a better way to play than Wild Herd. I think Wild Herd's probably best, especially into the meta as it stands at the moment. But I think it's also still just fun, and it's a different thing to do, and you get to use the Gigantic Spawn, which have their own advantages. Nibbling. Oh, that's kind of you to say, Nibbling. Thank you very much. You saw someone's list earlier where they used that Obsidian Magic Res item, and I totally forgot about it. Yeah, Magic Res 1 is, like, it's fine. It's not super exciting, but just for, like, if you've got a flat 20 points left and you need to spend 20 points here, it feels like a pretty good way to go with. So that looks good to me. All right, sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okie dokie. So there is one Nuln list that has been submitted. I don't know if the person asking for Hobby Prince, I don't know if Hobby Prince is Jacob von Torkar, but let's look at this Nuln list as the next one, because I think Nuln's a fun list, and I think this is an interesting approach, and there's some things that I would tweak. So, well, you get to see a Nuln list at least. For your army Nuln, engineer buffs artillery to deal most of the damage, while all else is deterrent or nuisance. So I'm not going to tweak a huge amount here, in that I'm going to make some tweaks, but then I'm going to talk about some stuff. So the list says artillery do most of the damage, while everything else is a deterrent. That's great, but there's not enough artillery, in my opinion. I think you want to go double Hellblaster, and a triple cannon. I think if you're leaning on the artillery to do most of the damage, you need to go down that line. The cuts that I would make is I don't think the Imperial Ogres are super necessary. It's if you're bringing them because you like them, that's great, and there's no harm in putting them in. But this is just like if we're making the tweaks. So these are just efficiency tweaks. Feel free to completely ignore them if you don't want to go with that. And I will, I guess, link the timestamp so we've got the discussion of it as opposed to it just being, I've changed your list, good luck. Okie dokie. So then the veteran state troops, 25 is fine. It does feel a little bit low. I like the upgrades you've gone for. Ring of Tal, giving a ward save once per game, and the Banner of the Free Strait of Nuln, getting stubborn on there is really nice. Comes with shields, all great stuff. I think what we do is we just go minimum size on the state troops. Realistically, they're not going to do that much. So you go minimum size there, and you use those points to buff up the state troops a little bit. So, we go to 30 and 5 instead of 25 and 10. That just feels like something that's going to hang around a little bit better. Then we definitely want another engineer. If you've got that much artillery, you definitely want a secondary engineer. Something like this is fine. You can give it a long rifle. I generally wouldn't bother, but it's relatively cheap in the grand scheme of things to add some damage there. Now, this captain, it's on a griffin, which is interesting. I don't hate the captain on a griffin. So it's getting you to T5 and 5 wounds, which is okay for 220 points. I don't hate that at all. I understand why you've gone for the Pearl Daggers, because it gets you from 2 attacks to 4 on average, strength 4, AP 1, rerolling hit rolls, and that's fine. But the big thing that I'm looking at here is your initiative 4 on the captain, and since you're running around solo, challenges are going to be a big problem. You've got initiative 5 here for the griffin, so I think you're not going to get to attack much with the captain. Maybe you're using it as like an ethereal, an anti-ethereal piece, but what I'd say is drop the charm shield and the pearl daggers, put on the white cloak just for a ward save, and then go with just a cheap magic weapon, something like sort of striking, probably biting blade. I think this is a more effective loadout for not much more in terms of points, and you're a lot tankier. You're welcome, Johnny, and good to see you, Matthew. So yeah, I think this Griffin loadout is just better. Unless you have a very specific goal for it, I think this is just going to do more for you, and it's going to be hanging around for longer. Engineer with the Wanderous Arquebus is fine. The second engineer we've put in because we've put in more artillery. And then we've got Master Mage, Lore Familiar, Power Scroll, Demonology. I like this. This is your Steed of Shadows and Demonic Vessel character. Feels good. You'd rather keep the character since that's why you have hands in. Yep, that's fair enough. And then you've got the Priest of Sigmar here as well. Glad you're here so you can hear the reasoning. So if you're putting the ogres in, so from memory, there was heavy armor, 1 great weapon, 1 morning star, 1 light cannon, 3 pistols. Unit champion, 172. I think that was correct. So something has to go out to fit those in. Where would we make the cuts? So in terms of when I'm looking, it depends how competitive you're trying to be with the list. So if you're looking just in terms of playing it for fun with friends and you're not too bothered about making it as lean as possible, I think what you had is fine. I'd still change the captain up, but that's the only thing that I'd really change with your list as it stands. Hobby Prince, I can't get to this one this evening. Submissions need to be in earlier in the day, I'm afraid, just in terms of making sure that I can actually get things done without having to mess around with putting lists in at the time. But next Friday, I will put up a call for lists at, as long as I remember, about 8 or 9 o'clock on the Friday morning BST. So we've got the ogres. Yeah. So as I was saying, if you want to, if you're not trying to make it too competitive, then there's not many tweaks to make. I'd tweak the captain unless you have a specific role for it. But if you're trying to make it as competitive as possible while having some pet units in, I think the captain and the war wagon and the imperial ogres, those are all the sort of pet units where you're struggling in terms of those are less efficient units that are taking up a chunk of points, and I think it's difficult to have 3 of them in. So I think making cuts somewhere along there would be how I would do it. I do agree, Hans is pretty good. I've also found that in combat, he's kind of messed me up a few times. Um, Judgment is a pretty beefy weapon. Strength +2, AP -2, multiple wounds 2. Just means that he's got 4 attacks at weapon skill 6, I think. Yeah. Pretty good stuff there. So I guess the thing to tweak is you take out one of the cannons here. We drop the Hockland long rifle. This character didn't need to pay for heavy armor. It's got the twice blessed armor already. There is still 26 points over. He's very cost efficient. I agree. He is fantastic. Maybe you just sacrifice the second engineer and you accept that you're just going to have a little bit less consistency. I'd love... You know what? Actually, I think I'd rather lose the Wondrous Arquebus, as nice as it is, and then have just 2 engineers for rerolls and get more efficiency out of the war machines. Would prefer a Peg Captain with Dragon Bow. Peg Captain with Dragon Bow is very good. I do like it. Oh, we're 1 point over. Is there any way to get this 501 to 500 exactly? How would we do that? So the Outriders are fine. The State Troop are 9 points per model. I mean, I guess we just go 29 and 6. Okay, there we go. That would be the tweaks there. But again, this is, if you want your pet units in, there's nothing wrong with that. But we have managed to put the ogres back in there at least. Oh, lovely, lovely stuff. Okie dokie. So. What have we got next? So we've done an Empire, and you're welcome, Jacko. Yeah. So that's a good one. We have got a bit of variety here. There's a lot of different lists. Got a few. So what do we got? We got 2 Renegade Crowns, and we've got some Chaos Dwarves, some Strigoi, 3 Renegade Crowns, some Heralds of Darkness. I think it's got to be some Renegade Crowns. Let's start there because there's a few lists in terms of what we're looking at. So let's go with 4.62%. I want my body to be 4.62% Cola Sweets, who didn't submit a JSON file. How dare you? You exist only to cause me misery. So this is very similar to Goldfire's list, who I wasn't able to get to. And there was a couple of things to tweak here. So first of all, you've got the Veteran Sellswords. You've got 2 units of Veteran Sellswords. I think this is good. I like the double Veteran Sellswords. There's one which is great weapons, full plate, shields, drilled heavy infantry, and they've got the phalanx rule, which means that they are... Oh, my brain's turned off. What is the phalanx rule? I remember being excited by it. You are not disrupted if you're charged by first charge. That was it. And you're heavy infantry, so you need unit strength 10 in the flank to be disrupted. Great weapons. This is basically your Great Swords Plus. And they've got War Banner here. There's a Griffin Standard BSB, which I'm assuming is going into the other unit. And I like this. This is just like really beefy Great Swords. It's going to be paired with, I'm assuming, the Demonology Wizard, level 3, Lore Familiar Power Scroll, 2 Power Scrolls. So you're going to Steed of Shadows up the board. You're going to cast Demonic Vessel. And, yeah, going to get up there. You've got Stubborn from the Tillian Stoicism, giving you the, even if you lose a round of combat. Because you just fly them up, you park them in front of your opponent, and then they charge you, you cast the Demonology buff, and jobs are good. So I do like that character there. Going with, I'm assuming, the Renegade Prince for this unit. The Wandering Diestro, the Feint and Dodge, which gives you the ability to make someone reroll all hits against you once per game, paired with a Bedazzling Helm, a Charmed Shield, Morningstar as well. It's the first time I've seen anyone using Morningstars, but I guess this book is like, this is the best weapon that you can go for, realistically. So Strength +1, AP -1, Armor Bane 1 on the charge. Second round of combat is just Strength User AP 1. But with Demonology, that gets you... Renegade Prince is not a great stat line. I guess it gets you up to a 4th attack at strength assuming you've charged strength 6 AP2 on the Bane one. That's not bad. That's like a 4 attacks with a greatsword. Great swords and core go hard. Heavy armor, shield, crossbows go hard. I do like those. They made Dogs of War from Timo, but good. Yeah, I actually really like this. I know some people were disappointed. Feel like they were missing out, but I like it. The second unit. So I think the wizard here and the renegade prince go into the unit of greatswords, and then we have the illusion caster and the griffin banner BSB going in with this unit here of handgunners. Now, you're above your minimum, you're above your 25%, so this has to come down below 500 points. It's got the razor standard with the handguns, which I think is solid. Full plate armor, and shields, and drilled, and they've got the heavy infantry phalanx rule as well. I think you just downgrade to heavy armor. Sure, you've only got a 4-up save against shooting instead of a 3-up save, but you've still got a 3-up save in combat, and this is like your more budget unit. And that change immediately takes you down, what, 68 points. That's huge. That buys us so much to upgrade here, which I'm probably going to put into the archers, to be clear. Double bombard as well is really nice. So I think just getting these archers up to 14 or 16 probably feels pretty solid. Would I like to see one unit with scouts? I mean, it's good anti-green knight tech, but I feel like we're not really doing that anymore. Also, can they both be detachment units? So you can put them down with the sellswords? Is that good? Ooh, is that good? That might be good, just in terms of keeping your drops low. So you'd have 1, 2... I guess only one of them could be a detachment. The other one can't be, just in terms of fitting into the core points. So you could go 16 and 14. Oops. I'll put 15 and 15. Let's go 16 and 14. And make one of them a detachment. I think let's make the 14 a detachment. Now, the detachment bit is optional. You don't have to do that. But it does keep your drops low. It would keep you at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops. Which I do quite like when you're trying to use Steed of Shadows to get the drop on the opponent. Or just get lots of shooting into your opponent. It feels like Renegade Crowns has loads of flexibility, variety, and flavor. You wonder if you can make a list with only Skaven counts as model choices. I'm sure you could. So you could go... here, you could go Storm Vermin. But, you know, actually, yeah, the halberds count as great weapons, shields, and the heavy armor. That sounds good to me. The veteran sellswords with handguns, you would probably do some sort of ranked up unit of the Warplock Jezzails. That would be how I'd go about doing it. And then the back few ranks, you just mix in some like heavily armored converted Skaven, maybe. And then you've got the archers, which could be sling gutter runners. That would do. But yeah, I like what we've got here. We've still got a few points left, so let's just make 16 and 15. Ooh, hold on. Yeah, it does turn off the marksman by doing that. That's good. Cool. I like it. You like the idea of multi-ethnic renegade crowns. State troops, elven, archers, wolf riders. Wolf riders? Hold on now. Can't be working with those greenskins. But yeah, I think that's a fun way of doing it. I like that in the Arcane Journal, they're like, these could be done by, you know, various things, including elves. That would work pretty well. 4.62. I want to be 4.2%. 4.62% Dakota Sweets. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Cool. So we've had our first Renegade Crowns. I do like that list. I think it is interesting, and I need to start cooking more with it. I really like the it's interesting that people aren't necessarily playing around with the Hiling Outriders. That is something that I'm more interested in playing with. I like the bricks of infantry, but I'd like to do the bricks of infantry and the Outriders, I think. I just haven't worked out how I want to put them together. Let's have a look at Chaos Black's list. Grand Cathay. Looking for no balloons, but still competitive with Cathay. Very nice. Oh, Goldfire's was with pistols. Yeah, I like that. I'll have to have a look at his list properly later on. So, this is Mao Ying, Double General, Lancer with Rings of Jet, Jade Warriors with the Icon of Heavenly Fury, Cannon, more Lancers. Alright, yeah, that looks pretty good to me. This is You have 6 Outriders being printed up. One day I'll get my 49 strength 5 AP2 attack unit. Hell yeah. I like the idea of that. So Mao Ying... Is Mao Ying better than the equivalent points in other things? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. She's fine, but you haven't really got enough infantry to play around with. I'd be tempted in this list to just leave that. I'm going to steal from Toby, who I played against round 5 at the event this weekend just gone, and go with the Spectral Doppelganger. What are we looking for here? Scrolls of Wei-Shin, Learn Feng Shui Bo, so you know all 6 spells, because that's a funny thing. And then also the Monkey King's Wisdom with Illusion. This feels, in my mind, better for this, because Mao Ying's fine. She's a decent combat unit, but he's a real beater in melee. Seems to be some secret tech people hint at with Mao, so maybe she's much better than anything else. I'm not good enough to figure it out. I don't believe there is, in terms of, to the point of her working with only a single unit of infantry. I think you need more infantry, or people need to show what they're talking about on the tabletop. That would be my assessment of the situation. People like to say that they have cool tech pieces, and I only believe it when I see it. So we've got ambushes, and this one can't have ambushes, 0 to 1 per 1,000 points. Cool. Oh, these should have drilled as well, if possible, because you're going to be going around in marching columns. So the 2-core ones can go with drilled. And then this one here is just going to have to go around without. Matthew says, why more infantry? Because when she teleports around, if she teleports around, she needs infantry units to hide within. Teleporting is great, and it lets you get angles and range, but if you're just going to be targeted when you're a human by like a cannon or something, you're just going to fall over immediately. If it's what I think it is, which was my first thought, it doesn't work, but I'm very open to being surprised. What are you thinking? What's the secret tech that you are alluding to? I think this is just a good build. Illusion and Law of Yang. That gives you all of the options you could want. The Dragon 5 pistols are not very good, are they? It's just like a pistol. Strength 5, AP1, multiple shots 2. Why? What the fuck? I had forgotten this existed. Why is there more stuff? I need to practice it. Got 2 solid infantry units in her in my army. Yeah, I think 2 solid infantry units is enough to play around. Put the directly in the balloon easy. Something similar to that, but it just doesn't work for the exact reasons after you give. Not be able to charge after transformation. Ballistic skill is bad. Is it 4? Ugh. 3. Okay, never mind. That's why I didn't care about it. I was like, I can't believe I've never, like, not lost my mind, but been very excited to see that. We should see Celestial Blades on these, though. Actually, that hinders us in a challenge. Oh, we were striking first anyway, so let's just go for the slightly better weapon. And that'll do. And then we've got 20 points, so it's just 2 more Jade Warriors, I think. Icon of Heavenly Fury. Yeah. I mean, I like the list concept you're going with. I just think I'm not a huge fan of Mao Ying in this list. So hopefully you get to hear... Oh, you were here. I saw you earlier. So hopefully that makes sense. And we'll go from there. Oosh. You're very welcome. If you want to make Mao Ying work, I just drop the 3rd unit of Lancers, the one in rare, and put in more warriors, and I think then she probably does work. I think you just need a little bit more to play around with. Like, I've been reasonably impressed with her on the tabletop when my opponent has 2 units of infantry, basically. When they have 1, I find it too easy to try and hunt her down. Lovely, lovely stuff. Let's have a look. This is a fun one. Amy, our renegade, our... What word am I looking for? My brain's melting. Resident. Jesus. Our resident Arachnarok player has asked for, specifically, the lowest model count possible for a vampire count army. Must include a Strigoi and Terrorgeist and 2 Vargulf. Rest is flexible. Thank you, Christian. Resident is correct. Okay, so Master of the Black Arts. I'm pretty sure this is the one that I'm thinking of. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't take Master of the Black Arts on a Strigoi, because this is specifically for a vampire count or for a vampire thrall. So you're not allowed to have a level 3 Strigoi, which is very, very sad. Lord of Night is fine, in that you get to res some Fellbats or Batswarms or Direwolves. Dark Acolyte is also fine, you gain Invocation of Dehek, so you can just fly around resing stuff, which is okay. You know, it's super fine. You've already got Terror, so you don't need Supernatural Horror. I don't know why I clicked that. There was only one thing it could be. Crown of the Damned is very funny, in that we're going for, you know, stupidity here, but that is fine. We're going Battle Magic. What do we want on Battle Magic? Is there anything that we really need? Or maybe we just go with a level 1 wizard and we don't even worry too much about being level... Because we can't get level 3, so maybe we just go level 1. Strigoi have... I feel like... Yeah, they're incredible beat sticks. So they're strength 5 with 5 attacks. And they've got Frenzy and Hatred, right? Or just not Frenzy, they've got Hatred. We need to give this character some sort of weapon. So it's a 75-point magic item allowance. So we can have anything up to 40 points. Or, what if we go for a talisman and we go Blood Drinker? Strength user AP -1. That's not super exciting. Dreadlance is pretty okay. Dreadlance is pretty okay. Strength +2, AP -2. I mean... Rerolling hit rolls. Oh, you've got Hatred already. You don't need that at all. God damn it. So we could go Blood Drinker. Is there anything up here that's worthwhile? Headsman Axe is, like, fine. Maybe it's just Biting Blade. Maybe that's as good as we're getting, and we're just going, okay, Strength 5, AP 2, Armor Bane 1 is okay. It's not exciting, though, is it? Maybe, like, I feel like, knowing Amy... that given that she's gone the Dark Acolyte and Lord of the Night for resing, I feel like going the Blood Drinker to theoretically heal more would appeal. Like, I feel like that fits the vibe. I could be wrong, but I have a good feeling about that one. Then it fits with Talisman of Protection. So you lose Stupid, you gain, you know, you go from a 4-up ward to a 5-up ward, but you can also heal a wound every turn if you get into combat. So I kind of feel like this does the job, you know? Just because the Shug has a crap ballistic skill. It does have crap ballistic skill, yeah. Strigoi gets Battle Magic, funky. Yeah. I'd love to have Illusion. That would be my preference here. But Hammer Hand is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Then we've got a level 1 wizard. With Dark Magic. A level 1 wizard with Dark Magic. Cloak and Mist and Shadows. I mean, do we not make that a level 3? Double movement Strigoi is pretty neat. Yeah, we'd have to index into that so heavily. You'd have to go Lore Familiar realistically. It can only be a level 2 maximum. Strigoi kneels naturally as well by doing wounds in combat. It's been a long time since I looked at the Strigoi. The Hunger. Oh, yeah, it's only on a 6. I remember this rule. I'm so disappointed with it. It's so close to being cool. It's just not good. You have a 1 in 6 chance to heal if you do wounds. I hate that. I hate that so much. Okay. Cool. I like that. This Acolyte, let's make it a level 3. You're going to just heal so much more. Because when we're looking at the... Invocation in the heck. Swarms is wizard level +1, so it's really important to get that there. And then heavy cavalry is just... Oh, I've just had a thought. In terms of who has to be the general. Let's just have a quick look. I have a feeling it's the highest level of wizardry, isn't it? I'm going to be really disappointed here. Vampire counts. Pull that up here. Where does it say? Doesn't say on that one. It's on the Necromancer. Must be a wizard. Oh, I don't think it has to be a highest level wizard. I think it just has to be a wizard. Must be a wizard. Okay, yeah, cool. I think I just made up a rule that doesn't exist. No worries, Martin. Good to have you. Hope you enjoyed your evening. Because you don't play Vampire Counts, you don't know. Are there any models surviving any pressure or tension in those dire wolves and swarms to be able to be rezzed? I guess it's less for melee and it's more for if they get shot at and picked away at. Yeah, if the unit's wiped, it dies. So I think this is fine, and it's more about having as few models as possible than anything else, which I do appreciate. So let's make this wizard, and we're going to give them the Cloak of Mist Shadows, so they get Ethereal and Fly. Where are they at? Where's this gone? Cloak of Mist and Shadows, Cloak of Mist and Shadows. Why am I struggling? And let's give them the Scepter of Dinero as well, so we get that additional res, because I feel like resing is going to be a big part of it, because we've got the Vargeist running around. So we're going to drop one of the Vargulfs, which is a shame, because they're fun. But I think, actually, what if we just dropped one of the Vargeist and we went with 5? Still 20 points over. We could go to... Yeah, here we go. Now we're cooking with charcoal. I've dropped 2 models for you to paint, Amy, so, you know, great stuff there. And then here, can we get up to... I don't think there's any way to get up to level 4 without sacrificing something. So level 3 might have to do. Because there's such low number of units in the list, it does get a little silly. You know what? I actually think we'll drop a Vargeist. I think dropping one Vargeist is better. A Vargulf is better. We put the Vargeist back in, and we put the Bat Swarm back in, and then we can also go level 4, and we can go Spell Familiar, and then we've got you're rezzing a lot more here, which is really nice. It's not the general. This is the general. What do we want to go for here? What lore is important? Because we're just going to be flying around on our own. There's only one Scream, so it's not really Necromancy. Unquiet Spirits is decent. The Illusion Magic Missile is not. Dark Magic only really gives you Battle Lust. We've got Hatred on... honestly, like, I know we're doubling up here, but they have Frenzy, they don't have Hatred. And the Vargeists are only weapon skill... Oh, they're weapon skill 4, that's not awful. But giving them Hatred is not bad. Maybe it's just Dark Magic. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't have a strong feeling on how this should be set up. But yeah, this is maybe it. We definitely don't want a unit champion because you don't want to get challenged out there. At which point we need another 20 points. We're just going to give it a power scroll. The lore is workable. You can tweak the lore, but I think for what you're going for, Amy, I think I like this. I'm sorry to break it to you that you can't have the level 3 wizard on the Strigoi, I'm afraid. The Immortal Eternal Scream is funny. Yeah, I agree. Health stealing, tanking mechanics are great for annoying you in particular. Have you considered playing an army that can do more than 2 wounds a turn? You know, I hate to victim blame that rat bastard, but at some point we do have to acknowledge the Skaven in the room. It feels so good to lean backwards and just not have constant shoulder pain. All right. Good stuff there. We've got a couple of dwarf lists as well. Let's have a look at one of the dwarves, because I think that is an interesting one to go with next. We've got Elves Slayers Drakestar. You do more than 2 wounds a turn to yourself. There. Trying to make a Drakestar list work in your Royal Clans. Here's the current iteration. Love that. This is something that I haven't really seen anyone do, so I'm a big fan. Okay. So, Double Grudge Thrower, Rune of Forging, and Stalwart. I mean, Stalwart is just the way to go. Given how cheap it is. I wonder if it's worth... no, it's not. It's Rune of Reloading, right? my brain. I'd almost like double Rune of Reloading. I feel like being able to... Rune of Forging is very good. Anyone who doesn't know, the way dwarf runes work is you can have multiples of a rune, not on the same item, unless it's extremely common, like a Rune of Forging, but you can't have the same loadout per army. So in this case, we're going, okay, we've got the Rune of Forging, that's great, but if you want to have a second Rune of Forging, you need a second rune, so I think Rune of Reloading is the one to go for. I almost am tempted to think about Rune of Burning, in case you come up against Trollhood, just to really hammer in. But I think the Runesmith gives you flaming attacks, right, as well. It's not that one. Forge Fire, here we go. Armor Bane, flaming attacks, yeah. So that's solid there. Okay, Boatman's Cart. If you're playing some sort of Death Star, I really like that. And then we've got a big brick of Iron Drakes. No Trollhammer Torpedo because it's been nerfed into the goddamn ground. Gone from strength 8 to strength 3. Strength 8 to strength 5. Full command there. You haven't given them drills. That makes sense. You want to shoot them. You don't want to be marching them. Rune of Battle here. Have you got Rune of Courage? Yes, you've got it on the Runesmith. Sorry, Matthew. I'm giving tech against the one Trollhorde player in the country. We've got Royal Clan Warriors who are hand weapon shields, heavy armor, stubborn veterans. Let's get a musician on them. Musicians. This is not an army that's going to win big. It's going to, or like not a unit that's going to win or lose big. It's definitely going to be tighter fights. Rune of Battle, Rune of Courage, so this is standalone. I like that. Great weapons, heavy armor, shields, drills. This is a good setup, I think, for the Longbeards, especially with the Dwarf Cart. Being able to march 12 inches is just quite nice. We don't have to shave some points, so I think we're maybe going down to 18 and then finding a way to drop a couple of points here. Okay, maybe one Iron Drake goes, because I think losing one Iron Drake is not the end of the world when you've got 26. The King, we've got a great weapon, full plate, Master Rune of Grommel to get a 2-up save, Rune of Preservation for immunity to multiple wounds, and then Master Rune of Smiting, which is the D6 damage. So this is a pretty standard dwarf build. I don't mind it. The other thing you can do is go Alric the Mad, double Fury, which gives you +2 attacks. So, actually, I don't know if you've got points for that. So that would be 45, 70. So I think it's only 5 attacks ignoring armor saves. And then you've got... Yes. So you couldn't fit in another one with the Master Rune of Grommel, I don't think. Or is it 150 points? Oh, no, actually, you could, right? Rune of Preservation. Yeah. Okay, so we keep Preservation, we keep Grommel, swap the Smiting for Alric the Mad and Fury. I'm less and less bothered by big multi-wound things. I don't think this is a bad build at all. I just like more attacks, and cleaving through infantry with poor save or like good saves is something that's high up on my agenda. But I guess maybe this list just doesn't worry about infantry, because we've got 26 Iron Drakes and the Thane of Bursting Flame. So the Thane, handgun, shield, yeah, just the perfect loadout. This is exactly what you want to see. Good stuff there. Runesmith, Grogny for the ward save, Courage for not being teared off, and Stroller's Rune for the Vanguard move as well. It is Vanguard, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. This is good. So it gives you a 3-inch move before the game, which when you've got an 18-inch gun, just changes the maths on whether you're able to shoot things on that are deployed on the line. So you can Vanguard 3, walk 4, because the Dwarf Cart procs in your command phase. So you don't get to use it in Vanguard, unfortunately, but you do get it in an AoE after that. And it means that you can shoot theoretically 25 inches from your deployment line, which is pretty solid. I like that a lot. So this is a good loadout here. I mean, honestly, these are all good loadouts. I really like that. And yeah, is 15 too low? Or is are the Royal Clan Warriors like bunkering someone? I feel like they should have a Rune of Courage. I'm a little worried about them just fleeing. I don't want them to be teared off the board, you know? So I think we go Rune of Courage. We can do it on its own. We're not super worried about that. And I feel like this is just a 4x4 brick. So do we go 17? Is that the answer? So when things... We can go 4x4 and get charged? But then we can't charge. It's a nice little bit of tech to put you in marching column. And then as soon as the unit champion dies, it doesn't matter. So I do like 17. If you're not putting any characters in there, I think 17 is great. And then we can just shave a couple of Iron Drakes. We'd have to lose 3. 23 or 26, I think that's fine. Like, you're not going 13 wide. Yeah. I like this tweaking. I would probably tweak the king as well, but I don't know if that's correct. Maybe you just need something to deal with the dragons. Maybe you have to have something. I'm thinking of doing a dwarf list for a slow grow league next year, which I will be running. Maybe I'll try something like this. I think it's a really cool idea. I really like the Iron Drake Death Star. Yeah, cool list, I'll say. Although your name is terrible and you should be banned. How dare you? We all know that elves are the superior fantasy. Choose my wording carefully. Fantasy army. Time for a midstream reminder. If you're here and you haven't already, please do give the stream a thumbs up. Helps me get picked up by the algorithm, which does help. I haven't really been looking at my analytics recently. I should have a dig into those, but it feels like things are going well recently, which is nice. Thank you all for being here. Obviously, it's an incredible privilege to be able to talk about Warhammer on the internet and make that a good chunk of my job, and then talking about Warhammer individually is the other part of my job. It's incredible. I look like I'm popping pills. Rennie peppermint. Got some indigestion. I think that's the main side of getting old, honestly. When you start getting indigestion too much. When you haven't even done anything. Haven't even had the nice things to eat. It's a damn shame. A damn shame. Cool. Alrighty then. What have we got next? Have we got anything that we want to dig into? We've got a couple of vampire count lists. We've got a Skaven list. Got some Chaos Dwarves. I think we should do something and then we come back to another vampire count list so we can spread those out. I want to talk about my Hell's Darkness list. So, Batman 2604. More crowns. You know what, Corathan? Good shout. I didn't get to your list, sorry, because yours was looked at on the last stream. I know it wasn't last week. It was because I had a week off where I was painting for the armies, the Beastmen. But I will look at another Renegade crowns after this one, and we'll go from there. So, Batman says, someone in another group asked if Khorne was still viable to play solo. I loved it back in the day of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, so I thought I would give it a go. So, the short answer is, if you're wanting to play competitively, no. Frenzy is something that is too abusable, and I don't believe that Khorne Warriors of Chaos can overcome that. However, if you want to play this more at the level of, I want to make my idea work at a reasonable level without going too deep, I'm not necessarily looking to win tournaments or anything like that, I think it is still a very valid sort of middle level playstyle where just like, I'm going to take some good efficient units, they're going to hit real hard, we're going to charge. So let's have a look at what we've got here. Go for it, painting. How are you doing? So we've got a Shaggoth with the Chalice of Dark Ring. I just love that tech piece. I don't know if it deserves to go into every list, but I'm going to put it into every Warriors of Chaos list that I write, and then take it out with extreme reluctance. Especially something like this, a full send list that just wants to get across the table. Thank you, Akonti. Appreciate that. Good to see you this evening. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun playing Beastmen, honestly. I've got a couple of... I'm thinking about, because I've got an event next weekend, I'm thinking about taking some Grand Army Beastmen. Gonna finish painting up this guy, my Doom Bull, and then also look at building, or putting together a couple of Gigantic Spawn and Nurgle I ordered from Etsy. Do you like the Shaggoth and Beastman? It's such a nice model. I love the model. I think in Beastman, you can just put the Chalice on something else. Shaggoth is one of my favourite models. I remember when it came out and I was awestruck. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Although I never saw it in person, so I think now that I have seen it in person, I'm like, wow, it's pretty small. I always imagined it to kind of like tower around It's on a 50 by 75 base. I thought it was on like 100 by 50 mil or whatever dragons were on back in the day. Turns out no, very very small. So yeah, let's look at this one. So we got Chaos Lord, Mark of Khorne, Talisman of the Carrion Crow for the regen, 3 Favors of the Gods, Berserker Blade, and Enchanting Aura. Berserker Blade? I don't think that's right. That is, yeah. I mean, I think instead of just juicing the number of attacks, let's make the attacks good. Also, you obviously can't use a lance and a magic weapon. You always have to use the magic weapon. You don't get to choose between the two. Mark of Khorne gives us Frenzy here. And we've got a Chaos Steed. And Enchanting Aura for the Strike's Last Aura, which is really nice to have as well. So I like this as a general vibe. We'll come back to it. Then we've got the Exalted Champion, Lance, Shield. You're doubling up on magic weapons and non-magic weapons. Just you don't need to go with both. Khorne, like, Frenzy only works if you charge now, so I think we just like double down on the charge and we just say let's go Lance here, and that's absolutely fine. Then we've got the Aspiring Champion, BSB, Halberd, Mark of Khorne, Chosen Chariot. Nice. So what I'm thinking, let's immediately just change things up. Like, the regen on this, the Chaos Lord is cool, but instead of putting it there, let's put it on the Aspiring Champion, who's going to be solo, so they can actually be shot or damaged more worryingly. It's not that one. We need to go... We'll go Crown of Everlasting Conquest here, so we can keep 2 Favors of the Gods there. And then we're going to swap this one over to the Talisman of the Carrion Crow. I think 3 Favors of the Gods is probably more than you need. 2 is probably fine. So we're just going to tweak that down. Oops, I gave them more. Tweak that down slightly. And then we've got the Chaos Lord, who has got an Ogre Blade. And I think this just works. This feels aggressively solid. And we can take off one of the Ogre Blades, the Favors of the God here. So this model's still got 6 attacks at strength 7 AP2 before you even roll on the table. So that's pretty tasty. Okay, so this is all great now. Then we've got the Chaos Knights. We've got Brazen Collar, Standard Bearer, Icon of Darkness. Yeah, good. Both of these are great. I wouldn't mind one of them having... So you can make them... Either you can stack your minuses to shoot if you need it. Oh, you've got Diabolic Splendor. Okay. Yeah, so you've done that perfectly. So one of them will have Icon of Darkness. One of them will have Diabolic Splendor, so they're both -1 to be shot. You can just double up as well if you're playing into something that's going to absolutely ruin you. Warhounds with Vanguard are great. And then Mark of Khorne, Marauder Horsemen. So the problem is you have to have the same amounts of Mark of Khorne in here as you do in here. So we have to lose the Mark of Khorne on one of these Marauder Horsemen. So we're going to take that off for now, and we'll come back. Let's have a look here. So what are we going to put in? We do need a few more points. I don't really know what I want to put in to fill out the core, honestly. There's nothing that really speaks to me. Maybe it's just another unit of Warhounds. I find them incredibly useful with the Vanguard. And obviously putting them in marching column. Yeah, and then we can bump this up to 7. And then let's give the Shartak the Blackened Plate, so it's got a 2-up save. And that way you're just getting a little bit more out of it than you would otherwise. And I think this maximizes the theme a little bit more. These 2 Dragon Ogres are relatively tanky and hit relatively hard. The Chaos Knights and the characters hit really hard. The Chariot is beefy enough. I like it. I think this feels pretty solid. So, pardon me. Let's go with Batman. Batman. Boom. There is a Khorne list, and hopefully that is helpful. Beastman talking again. Are you putting the Doom Ball in the Flying Death Star? I played a bit with it, and I always felt like Avoidance armies could dance around it too easily. I guess it depends. So when I've played Beastman, I've more leaned towards Viletide, because I think that is a more... Like, it is a tool that is stronger into the general field, and it plays well into Avoidance. You have to possession correctly, obviously, if they've got stuff like Evasive, but you can play around that pretty well. You're right, it does make it hard, but you could put the Doom Ball on foot. Like, you could fly up on turn 1, and then if they manage to get out of your way, you can just take the Doom Ball out and just march it in the direction, like, sit it march it towards your opponent, so they go, okay, I've got a turn to shoot you to death, which theoretically is sat there with, like, I don't know, a 2-up armor save and a 5-up ward or something like that, depending on what you've equipped it with. So it's quite hard to remove at range for some armies. Obviously, screen from cannons or whatever if you can. But then you can use that to corral your opponent, and you can use the flying brick to try and catch them without other things. But I think I'd probably start it in the brick and then, take it out of the unit if I need to, as opposed to if I want to. Okay. Okie dokie. So, let's go. What did I say I was going to do? Renegade Crowns and Vampire Counts. Let's go Renegade Crowns first. Since Carathan asked. Let's see. What do we got here? So we've got Rejuve and we've got Val. Let's have a look at Rejuve's. So this is there's a lot of themes that are common between the units, but I think this one is a little bit different. Diablo Demons for another infernal looking Beastman army. Like it. Are they painted red? Red is the right colour for Beastmen, I've decided. I think I'm going to do my Nurgle Frogs red as well when they arrive. Okie dokie. So, we've got a heavy infantry veteran sellsword unit. Full command but no banner. Heavy armor, shields. Okay, so this is just like a combat res brick. And then we've got the second unit, which is full plate shields, great weapons. Okay, so I'm feeling these are a little bit light on numbers. I'm a little worried about that. These units are great. Short bows, no armor, reserve musician. I like that. And then we've got the veteran free blades, double bombard, brigands. Now, I'm not super in love with the brigands. I don't love them. Ambushes is fine, but you're paying a lot per model. So we've got, what? Is it 6 points base plus... so 10... I think the ambush cost is baked in. Yeah, okay. So we're paying 10 points per model for a blunderbuss to come in the back line. Blunderbusses are just not great, to be frank. And you don't have a lot of shooting in this list, so I don't feel like it's an overwhelm them with numbers of shots. You've got, you're going to come in, you're going to have a movement penalty. You're probably, you're going to have, so you're going to be hitting on 5s. So on average, you'll hit with 0.66 shots per model, which means out of 10 shots, on average, you're looking at, let's call it 7 hits. That's not great. You're wounding on 4s into mid-level stuff, or 5s into T4. If you want to go for war machines, good luck. I'm just not sold on it. Not sold on it. I'm going to take these out because we're going to need some points, because we're going to tweak these numbers here. So, what else did we look at? Burning Blade on the champion is fine. If you're really worried about Ethereal, I don't hate it. But it does stop you from using the great weapon, so I actually do really hate it. Because you're losing 2 attacks. Remember, you always have to use the magic weapon instead of the great weapon. I'd rather take my chances and put like a hammer hand wizard in or something, some sort of magic, or just beat them on combat res. So great swords, we're going to go, let's say we go 7x4, which is 21. We're going to put 7x4 is 28, so we're going to go 26, because then there's going to be 2 characters in there. And the veteran sellswords, we're going to go probably 6x5, 6x5, so we'll go 28. I'd like to get up to 34 for the combat res brick here. Oh, no, you can go 5x6 because they are phalanx. So 5x6 feels fine. You don't really care about dealing damage with them, you're just there for the combat res. So this, I think, is okay. The Doomseeker wants some juice. It doesn't want to be just running around on its own. I think... What do we like for this? Rune of Grit is funny, but I'd rather have it actually die than not die. Rerunning hit rolls is not bad. This is the cheapest way to get plus attacks, so I don't hate that at all. Plus 1 a weapon skill. It starts at weapon skill 5, right? I think 5 is fine into most things. You're probably putting it into infantry. It starts off at strength 5, toughness 4. So I don't think we need an extra pip of... if we don't put any runes on it, it has AP 1. So maybe we just leave it at AP 1 and we keep it cheap that way. And maybe we put another rune on there. Warrior's rune for +1 weapon skill. Or the challenge. I feel like we're going to get soaked by challenges a lot. So maybe this is the way forwards. So you're getting 2d3 plus 1 hits. You're getting your strength 5 AP 1 attacks, and you're getting d3 plus 1 AP 1 hand weapon attack impact hits. This feels fine. I think you always want to put a little bit of juice onto the Doomseeker. I don't think you have to go super in depth, but I think that's fine. Double bombard's great. Veteran flea blades. Free blades. We've got full command. Not a lot of magic standards going on in this list. Lances, full plate, shields, lance formation. I like the idea of a lance formation list. I do like that. And yeah, the problem I have with lance formation is, or with the veteran free blades, is you can't put wizards in with demonology because then your unit loses countercharge, and that sucks. So what have we got? So the BSB with Griffin standard, fantastic. Noble outlaw, full plate. Witch Hunter's Ward Sword. Okay, you haven't given this character a shield. Let's give them a charmed shield to just give them a little bit more oomph. Make sure that they don't fall over immediately. It's good stuff there. This wizard, Demonology level 3. Lore Familiar. No power scroll. I'd love a power scroll in here. We might have to come back and tweak points, but I'd really love a power scroll in here. Veteran Flea Blades is the name of the Wolf Rider Mercenaries. Genius. That is pretty good. Magic Resist is good. Sword of Might is fine, but you've only got 2 attacks on Renegade Captain, right? I'm pretty sure they've only got 2 attacks, so I think maybe we just don't fucking bother with the magical attacks. I think the way we make this work better, and we shave some points, we don't bother with Sword of Might. You're only getting 2 attacks, because it's a captain stat line. We keep the hand weapon, and we downgrade to heavy armor and shield, and that way you still get a 3-up save in combat, because you've got the parry save. Oh, and that takes us to exactly 2,000 points. I don't like Giant Blade on this character. I don't think that's worth going for. Giant Blade's just not, in my opinion, a good item. Like, I'd be more interested in going like Biting Blade, so you can get through the armor. But I think just going Lance here on the Renegade Prince feels better. Talisman of Protection. Is this the one that can take Bretonian items? Yeah. I mean, if we're taking a weapon, Sword of the Sat Hard, it's not bad. I know it requires 2 hands, so you've got a worse save. But if you want a weapon, that's not awful. And I do feel like putting some level of magic item in here is not bad. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Like so. You've got the ward save already. Yeah. That feels fine, I think. And then we've still got 5 points. So we've got a Charm Shield here. This is Might of Miracle Argo. This is Might of Miracle Argo. Yeah, because that unlocks the upgrades. And then we've got 5 points remaining. Is there anything that we want? I think just going Rampaging Banner would be nice here, but I think it's too many points. We definitely don't want a weapon rune. That would be a waste of time. Unless we go like more points into it. Oh, this doesn't even have a shield. It obviously you can't use it in combat if you're using the Sword of Stout-Hearted, but it just gives you a little bit more protection against like cannonballs if you fail your lookout sir or something like that. I think it's just worth the 2 points. It's not costing you much to have that in. But yeah, I think this is a tweaked version. I don't know what approach is best for the lists. I think it's a really interesting Arcane General. I don't think I've really solved it. I think it'd be wrong to say that I've solved the way that this army should play. Okay, let's have a look at vampire counts next then. Did I drag that up to the top so I don't accidentally do it twice? Nope, I did not. Okay, let's have a look at Val's Renegade Crowns. This is slow grow hobby project with lots of conversions. Wizards each join an Outrider unit as... Oh. Nope, no, we'll come back to that one. Sorry, I said I was going to do vampire counts. My brain's just fried. Here we go. Red Panda's Renegade Vampire Counts. This is what I was looking for. Aiming specifically for a no screams vampire counts list with a dragon because I want to use the new count on dragon model. Also only have 40 zombies, otherwise I'll be running a second brick. That is super reasonable. So we've got the vampire count with Armor of Destiny, Dark Acolyte, Lord of the Night, Great Weapon. Honestly, kind of just slaps. Yeah, Invocation at level 1. It doesn't give you a wizard level. No, it's just for this rule. And then Lord of the Night, Rising. Lots of people interested in resing Fellbats. How many wounds do they have in the Fellbats? It's only 2 each, right? Yeah, I don't know that you need the ability to res the Fellbats more than anything else. Is there anything that 15 points would free up for us? Oh, we definitely want a shield because you're using the Armor of Destiny. So you're going to have a 5-up save against shooting otherwise. So let's make it a 4-up save with the shield. So we could get a 10-point item. I don't think there's anything for 10 points that's super exciting here. No. Okay. So this is just a beater on a dragon. That's pretty reasonable. It's got a good stat line, you know. 9 wounds, strength 5, toughness 5 with a great weapon, so strength 7, 4 attacks. Pretty decent. Graveguard. We've got the Drachenhof banner, great weapon, shields. Just a great loadout. It's hard to argue with. Wait, hold on, shields? No. You can't have shields and great weapons. I'm assuming that was just a misclick. Let's give this... This is where I do like magic resist 1 and a charm shield. That feels pretty solid. And then we've got the crypt ghouls, the zombies. We don't need that many zombies. We can just go down to like 23. And then the dire wolves, we can just go down to 5. And that solves our points. Fellbat, Blood Knights. Blood Knights I'd like to see more. I would definitely like to see more. The Kenwraith's fine. You know, it just floats around. It's annoying. But I'd rather see... I want to go up to like 9 Blood Knights, but how the hell do we get there? I don't know that we can without making some significant changes. So this is specifically flying around to follow the Blood Knights / the Vampire Count, or has the ability to. So I'd really like there to be more in the unit. White Lord, War Banner, Accursed Armor. Okay, so Accursed Armor is... +1 toughness, more. So yeah, it's 8. So the typical build you go here, Helmet Commandment, because it gives you +1, well, plus D3 weapon skill on the Graveguard, which is absolutely huge, both offensively and defensively. And let's go with a Charm Shield here as well. Get rid of the shield there. That's good stuff. And I think everything else is here is fine. We just need to free up 12 points. So I think it's just we're going down to 14 on the Crypt Ghast and then drop a zombie, so down to 22. Something like this feels solid. But yeah, I'd like to see more Blood Knights in, but I think without completely retooling the list, there's no real way to do that. So let's just leave it at the 6 that we've got, which is still fine. It's just they can fall over if someone manages to get the right amount of output into them. Okay. Good stuff there. What have we got left to look at? So we've got some more Renegade Crowns, some Chaos Dwarves, some Tomb Kings with Chariots, Royal Clans, Bloodherd, Skaven, and another Vampire Count. So we better do something. We'll do something else and then Vampire Counts. Cursed Armor I've put on the White Lord because I found that when the Graveguard Brick gets into combat, the opponent usually just targets the White Lord. He dies too easily with T5, 2 wounds. I get what you're saying. You can put him on the end of the unit, so it's less attacks coming into him. Remember, they've got to be in base to base with them. And you can also protect him with challenging. So if your opponent has charged you with something, you can just challenge the unit champion if they don't have anything in there that's meaningful, and you can take a wound potentially. And then when they come to res, between the charm shield, is it a 4-up regen? I think it's a 5-up regen. So you just start with a 4-up regen that you get you get a 6-up regen originally. Yeah. I'd still definitely go Helmet Commandment. it's a very hard brick to deal with. Chorfs. All right, let's have a look at Chaos Dwarves, and then we'll come back to Vampire Counts to have a look at another one there. Okie dokie. So, Baron says, Chorf list for an RTT as a change of pace from committing war crimes with Cathay. Logic is that hobgoblins are for cowards, and dwarves/black orcs will win the day. Avoiding the wyvern, as I reckon a chariot is better, but got plenty of flexibility if needed. Okay. No worries, Celtic Fire Gaming. Thank you for submitting your list. Hope you have a good time just playing them in general. So, this is double Iron Demon, double Death Shrieker. Death Shrieker is pretty cool. So you've got two different types of rockets you can fire. The Incendiaries, I think, are the interesting one. It's a 5-inch blast. It's basically a mortar, but mortars are strength 2, whereas this is strength 3. So it's a little bit more likely to do damage. I still don't think the Infernal Incendiaries are good, necessarily. You're mostly going to be using it for the demolition rockets. There we go, that's what I was looking for. So your strength 6 on the middle hole, AP -3, and it's D6 damage. So this can deal real damage to anything that doesn't want to be shot by this. War machines can get absolutely ruined. Enemy dragons and the like, very much a problem that they have to deal with. And also Armor Bane 1, so you can get through the armor save. Now with the capping armor saves at 3-up, you can get through the armor save of anything big in the game, because it'll only have a 3-up save at base. Rocket launcher, didn't realize it was D6 wounds. Yeah, they got some interesting rules. The Cathay copied them, but didn't get the better version of the rules, which is interesting, because most of the Cathay things you're like, this is just something that I've seen before, but better. Whereas this is the better version of the Fire Rain rocket. So, double Iron Demon. I love the T7 spam. Just a big fan of that in general. Hellbound is a really great rule. If you are looking to do Chaos Dwarves, Hellbound is a fantastic upgrade. Gives you a ward save, and it upgrades your fear that you already have to terror. It also gives you magical attacks. So suddenly Green Knight Banshees have a real issue with it. Your T7, you can't be Vaal-Tided anyway. So there's a lot less stuff that can come in. You're not super worried about magical enemy attacks. Like, oh no, I get hit by a fireball. I'll just take my normal armor save. Cool. Also, you can re-roll a single artillery die. You don't use a scatter die. However, if you ever make a roll on the misfire table, it's -1. You don't roll on the misfire table. You just, like, if you misfire too much, you take a wound. Cool. So Hellbound is like a gimme, in my opinion, here. Death Shriekers are fine. I don't hate them. And then we've got the Black Orcs and the Infernal Guard. I think 12 Black Orcs is too low, I feel like. So, they're not very beefy. They're not doing much, are they? I guess this is just the off objective holder unit. I'd like to see some more great weapons. You don't have to go... You could just put it on all of the command. No, I can't remember how that works with mob rule. I'm not going to touch this unit for mob rule, because for Motley Crew, because I actually can't remember off the top of my head how it works with casualty removal when it's the weapons on the command. Obviously, the unit champion never loses the great weapon until they die, but it's, yeah. An extra engineer to be near the war machines for rerolls would be nice too. We have to leave the sorcerer near. You probably just, like, turn 1, get the rerolls, and turn 2, accept that you don't have rerolls. One of them has Hellbound, so it gets a single reroll there. But these are more ancillary to the game plan, as opposed to the main game plan, I think. The Infernal Guard, full command with an Ashen Banner, and this is -1 to be shot, I think? Yeah, -1 to be shot. Paying 10 points more than the regular Chaos list for some reason. Heavy armor, shields, blackshot armor. I don't know if this is worthwhile. So it gives you a 5 at ward against flaming attacks. It does give you... It's only a point per model. It gives you a 5 at ward save against Ruby Ring and Fireball. So I don't hate it. It actually gives you a 5 at ward against balloons. This is the best 1 point per model that you can ever spend. I changed my mind very quickly. Folded under no pressure at all. Okay, cool. So then we've got the Black Orc War Boss on a boar chariot, because you can't go on the Black Orc chariot anymore, which is very sad. Trollhide Trousers, Talisman of Protection, Grizzly Trophy Rack. Isn't the Grizzly Trophy Rack Oh, it's an enchanted item. I mean, this is fine, but if you're doing this on a Wyvern, in my opinion. Like, you're not causing terror with the with the chariot. I personally think the wyvern is better. I think the wyvern has more to it, and it also causes terror, and you've got a lot more flexibility. I know the boar chariot does have some advantages, but I feel like it's too easy to outposition, whereas the wyvern can just like march 18 inches and then swift stride you. Champion should have shield for challenges, unless I've got Motley Crew wrong. Yeah, so I'm assuming, sorry, in this unit here, it's going to be a case of the boss has got one of the shields and the great weapon, and then there's 8 models with shields, and there's 4 models without shields. But if you challenge from more than 6 inches away, I don't think you hit their leadership test. That is correct. What I really like Grizzly Trophy Rack for is when you're in combat with someone and you win by a chunk, you lower their leadership by 1 for terror, and you lower it by 1 for Grizzly Trophy Rack as well. Like, that is, in my opinion, the best use of it. 6-inch bubble now. Which means, has the Sorcerer Prophet not got a ward save? Oh, it's on foot. Okay, it's on foot. Mantle of Stone, 2 Power Scrolls. Makes you toughness 6. I mean, that's fine. I don't hate that as a build. It lets you cast Cloud of Ash for -1 to be hit in a bubble. It's okay. Power Scroll's good. I don't know, I just feel like I want something a bit more beefy in terms of armor. You come with heavy armor already, right? Or is it full plate? Yeah, it's just heavy armor. Is it worth 70 points for the Armor of Destiny? No. Maybe it's worth the Armor of Meteoric Iron. Just having an unmodifiable 5-up is almost like a ward save, especially when you're in a unit. 20 points for a 5-up ward save, or ward save. I think that's fine. Let me just have to find some points somewhere. Find some points somewhere. I think we drop the Hellbound off this. It's nice to have, but I don't think we have the points for it. And then we need to drop 19 points somewhere, which I don't love doing, but I think it just has to come out of the core. So we go like, oh, we don't have points for that. All right, we're dropping a Power Scroll. It makes me sad. I'd love a second Power Scroll, but I think we're going to drop 1 for the sake of the Armor of Meteoric Iron. I think that feels better. Maybe a Dark Forged weapon for the mage. People like them, and I don't think they're wrong to like them. I am a Darkforged blade or Darkforged weapon hater, because if you get it for the wizard, on a 6, incredible. On a 4, okay, sure. Everything else, I kind of don't care. So I've got a 1 in 3 chance to get something decent. If you're using it in melee, there's 3 results that are like Hatred, Multiple Wounds, and Strength +1 that are good. And then the Magic Resist one is pretty okay as well. I don't love the Darkforged weapon. Unless you've got weighted dice, which I don't recommend. I think I'm not willing to spend 10 points on it. Like, 10 points is not a lot, so putting it into your list, even like whether or not it's worth that 10 points, it's not a huge hit. I personally don't like them. Personally, don't do it for me. Okay. I think we've got to go for another vampire count list. Otherwise, are we just going to run out? Are we going to do too many vampire counts back to back? Or we only got 1 vampire counts list? Oh, no, okay. We're down to 1 of each. All right, let's do something different. Let's go for a bit of variety. We'll go Tomb Kings, and then we'll do something else, and then we'll go Skaven. So this is Nils the Batman, our second Batman of the evening. Tomb King, Chariots, and Beasties. That is the name of this list. I like chariots and big creatures. Not how good this would be. Feel free to tear it apart. Thank you. All right, Nils, let's do it. Down here, double Necrosphinx. Amazing. Great start. Love it. No notes. Tomb Scorpions. Love them. Big fan. Necropolis Knights. I'm not a huge fan of the Necropolis Knights. They're kind of like... They're not bad, but they're not good, you know? So they've got Swift Stride, which is nice. They don't have reserve moves, so you're limiting yourself in that you need to have something to give them reserve move. I don't think they can have... Oh, they could have a magic banner that gives them reserve move. Maybe that's the way to do it. I'm still not a huge fan of them, and you'd have to... Oh, you've got the light armor on there. I think you put the great weapon on them if you take them. they're a weird unit. So you're equipped with cavalry spears, light armor and shield. You've got armored hide 1. So you're a 4-up save. The Necros Serpent has no AP on their attacks. Doesn't have armor bane. Has an impact hit, but they've got poisoned attacks. There's 3 poison attacks from the Necro Serpents, and then 2 attacks with spears per knight, and then 3 attacks with a great weapon from the captain. And like that's all fine, but I just don't think it's good. Not for the points. Yes, Johnny Typelet, that is correct. I'm not not going to say it out loud though, just in case it's yeah. Hello, I hope the lists are getting fixed. They are. Good to have you, Callum. How are you doing? Oh, boy, Phil, you do a Trollhood list. What was that in reference to? I feel like I'm not 100% sure what I said for that to be responded to, but yeah, cool. So this is Royal Host, isn't it? I believe. No, this is Grand Army. Okay, cool, Grand Army. I feel like if you're doing this, why not just do it as Royal Host? Like, this feels Royal Host to me. You can take Necrosphinxes in Royal Host, right? I don't really want to fully rebuild the list, but there's no Necrosphinxes in this. Yes, that's where I was going wrong. It's Mortuary Cult that can take them. Bugger. Alright, never mind. You played a doubles game today, and now I'm trying to build Mao Ying for Saffron Slam. Hell yeah, that sounds fun. Mao Ying, more like Meow Wing. Callum as a cat is the the impetus for that terrible, terrible joke. Ah, yes, I see. Sorry, Phil. So obviously I skipped a week, but your list was on the last episode, and as per, unfortunately, there is too much interest in the evening, so I'm overcapped and I can't get to people who were seen on the last one, which is a really nice problem to have. I do appreciate that. Cetra's fun. I don't think Cetra's good, but I think Cetra's fun. So if you want to build around Cetra, that is fine. I think going double Tomb King would be better if you're going down this line of reasoning. But, you know, if you're doing it, then hell yeah, let's go for it. The Mortuary Priest, level 2, Ruby Ring of Ruin, Erding Rod, Necromancy. What are you even rolling for in Necromancy? I don't know if there's anything that's super exciting there, right? Maybe you just go... I mean... I think you just... I think this becomes a higher level wizard, so we can res more. I need to double check. How does resing onto chariots work? Is it level? Level of wizardry, yeah. So you definitely want level 4 to try and res some more. Level 4, Skeletal Steed. You went Ruby Ring of Ruin, which I think is actually fine in this sort of build, because we're just looking to get rid of these screening units where possible. So I think that's fine. Heraldic Jar for the double res is not bad, and the tablets for the... It's only +1 to cast, it's just not worth going for. Yeah. I think this is fine. The main problem you're going to have with the High Priest is it's on a Skeletal Steed, which is heavy cavalry, which is really sad if you want to join it to like the Horse Archers or something like that. Cetra, the Great King, the Imperishable. Yeah. First of his name, Commander of Legions, Curse of the Necropolis, Dry as Dust. Yeah, turns out if you read his rules, it doesn't actually sound like a list of titles. Double Necrosphinx is great. Double Tomb Scorpions is great. It's the core that I'm like, what are we doing here? So Razor Standard on a chariot unit, I think, is solid. That makes sense to me. And then we've got Mirage Banner, which is that's the -1 to hit. No, we're going Icon of Recaf because this thing is bullshit. So you make a single free reform at any point during its movement, apart from charges. This means when you overrun, you can make a reform. Wielder of the Divine Flame, the King of Kings. There's a lot of titles that you know there. I hope that you just know them off rip and you haven't had to Google them. That would make me impressed. We do have to go for at least one unit skeleton archers. That's a shame. And then the horse archers with warbows and chariot runners. Feels fine. Feels fine. I'd like to see. I think these having. Is it the death mask? The 20-point item? No. What is it? There's an upgrade that you can put on chariots to make them better. What is it? Is it an enchanted item? It's not the icon of rulership, is it? Oh, it is the icon of rulership. 35 points. So you can only put it on the Tomb Guard chariots. Okay, that's fine. I think I'd almost be tempted to go for a second mortuary priest on horse as well. Just get some more resing in here. But I don't know if that's super worthwhile. I feel like illusion on this character is probably good. But also you don't actually need... You know what? This character doesn't need reserve move. Necrosphinxes fly. Chariots have reserve move built in. Or Cetra doesn't have a reserve move. Okay, so you probably do need reserve move. That sucks. Okay, we'll just leave it as it is. And I think Elementalism makes the most sense for Plague of Rust and other shenanigans. I think that feels fine. Because you don't march with this army anyway, so giving them the ward save on a turn where they're not being shot is... and not charging feels good. And that just leaves us with 43 points, which... I mean, is it just another Tomb Scorpion? They don't have reserve move, which is a little bit of a bugger. Horse archers have reserve move, don't they? Yep, and the chariots definitely have it. Yep, cool. Cool. Cedric needs no reserve moves. He stands exactly where he needs to the first time. Yeah, but he wants to get the impact hit, so he needs to get closer and deal more damage. That's my thinking. What the hell do we do with 57 points in a list like this? I mean, do we just put a Royal Herald on Chariot in the list to try and soak, and then we squeeze some points from somewhere? Sworn Protector, it's a Monarch and Nakara. Is Cetra a Monarch? I assume he is, but you know what? Weirder things have happened. He gets all of those, doesn't he? Just says he must be the army general. Is Cetra a monarch? Is a tomb king? Yes, I believe that counts, because he's a tomb king, which is under the monarchs. Okay, cool. So, is it just a Royal Herald on Chariot to soak wounds with, like, Armor of Meteoric Iron, and we'll go Law Familiar? No, the other one. Talisman of Protection. Where art thou? Talisman of Protection. Yeah. And then we can just go, like, Great Weapon and run around near here. One of the chariots can go, potentially, because you probably want to run it with the chariots, and you don't need to go too heavy on them. And then also we can drop something here. Like, I don't think we need quite so many archers. 14 should do the job. We're not really caring about them. They're just there to hold an objective in the back line. It's maybe this unit here. We're still 30 points over. I don't really want to drop that model, actually. So maybe we drop a Tomb Scorpion. I like the Tomb Scorpions, but maybe dropping one of them here makes the most sense. Because we could drop the Horse Archers, but I like having the two units. Like, this is your scoring core. This is your aggressive core. This is Banter that doesn't have reserve move, so it's kind of like a bit gash. And then double Necrosphinx, Cetra for fun. Royal Heralds to tank wounds in a challenge if needs be. And then the High Priest as well. Yeah, I think, honestly, this kind of maximizes the vibe. I think this one needs more work. It needs to go... Like, it needs more cooking. And I don't mean that in that you should have put more work in that I think it needs more refining, but I'm not super sure that I know what to do with it off the top of my head. I think Cetra just needs to go, and you put, like, 2 Tomb Kings in, and you just drop the High Priest down to a Mortuary Priest again. Maybe that's the way to go. But I think it's fun, and I want to see Cetra on the tabletop more, so I think that's cool. Cetra the Demonetized, flasher of chest hair. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love how comfortable this chair is. I can be slumping back and I still feel like I've got lumbar support, which is wild. Wild, I tell you. Wild. Cool. So, we've got Royal Clans, Bloodherd, Skaven, and Vampire counts. I think, let's look at this one from Beanspud, who says, every damn time, full stop, I wait, ellipses, I go to sleep. 2 dots, then you ask. Well. Cool. Is it a new chair? It is a new chair. The old one was dog shit. This is courtesy of patron of the channel, Patreon of the channel, in the old Roman, term, or patron of the channel. I guess it would be, not patron. But anyway, yeah, Ginger Steve, who very generously got me a new chair because he's an unbelievable babe. Okay, so let's have a look at this Bloodherd list. So it is a Shaggoth with a true Roman chair for a true Roman. I missed that show. I don't know that reference. So I like the Shaggoth. I don't know that I care about Cacophonous or Dirge. I don't think this is something that needs to fit in all that much. Heavy Chaos Hammer's great. So we'll just tighten that up slightly. We've got the great weapon as well. Is there anything else we want? I don't think there is. I mean, Gouge Tusks is an interesting one. Or Pelt to Midnight, but I don't think I care about it too much. Got a level 2 Ambusher Hagtree Fetish. You just gotta ambush that on its own? I think it wants some buddies to come with in the ambush, so it doesn't just die immediately. The Dragon Ogres, you definitely don't want the Shartax in them, because you don't want to be challenged out, so let's get rid of those. And then the Razor Gore are fine. I don't love them so much if they're not in core, but, it's kind of whatever. Got Chalice of Dark Rain, Slug Skin. I think, if we're bringing the Doom Ball, I want to see it doing a little bit more than just being there. We can at least give it a great weapon. Even if it uses the shield with foe render, I think just having the option to go that way is good. I'd really like to see a BSB, but a BSB does get pretty darned expensive. I think we should be abusing the ability to give them shields a little bit more here. So let's go 5 and 3 and 3. I guess you go 3 and 4. Something like that. That feels solid. Making sure that we're at least getting a 5-up save against the shooting. We can do the same here. 4 and 3. Honestly, it could be 4 and 2. No, I think 4 and 3 is fine. Or it becomes 3 and 3. The 2,600 point Bloodherd list could be better than 2k Wildherd. It would be 2,200 points Grand Army if you built the Bloodherd like a normal list and didn't focus on minus ones. I'm thinking about cooking with that, yeah. I don't know that it'd be better because your options are a little more limited. Like only having Brave Shamans instead of top level ones. You can still take Walk or BSBs, which is great, but obviously, yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting one to play around. Beastman is good. We know this is the plus charge range one. It's one of the only ways for a unit like that to get in. I would like to see the -1 to be shot, because this unit is very vulnerable to just being blown out of the sky. I don't think... We're level 2. What are we rolling for in Dark Magic? Are we hoping to get Battle Lust? Is that the goal? There's no magic missile in there. I feel like if we're going level 2, it's just elementalism to try and find Wind Blast, especially if you're ambushing. No giant spawn for my potential. Yeah, I think Dragon Ogres, maybe going like heavy on Dragon Ogres, although I think that, yeah, they're not to 1. I'd like to go 3 units of them, but we can't. Oh, you've given them halberds. Let's fix that. They should have great weapons. I almost missed that. I'd like to see, I don't know, I think what we need to do is go like 14, 14, and this unit can be probably 10 actually, just for ambushes. So you've got a buddy for the Bray Shaman, so it just doesn't come in on its own. And let's just drop a Razor Gore and just buff up the Ungor a little bit more. I think that's the way to go. So we'll go something like that, I think feels solid. Very new to this, just love minus and Dragon Ogres. Wizard is there as told. It's good. Hell yeah. Cool. Beastmen are a lot of fun. I think Bloodherd is the least strong way to play Bloodherd, to play Beastmen. But if you like Minotaurs, I think it's solid. So what I would say, let me build a list just very quickly as like some like top-down talking points for Grander Army. Hold on, let me link this one. So I think the tweaks that we've made here are fine. But I would probably just go Grand Army. So I'm gonna Bean Spud, isn't it? Okay, so we'll link this, and then I'll just very quickly put together a Grand Army list that does. It's a Minotaur themed list. So if we start off here, oops, I've just put it there. So Grand Army. If you make your general a Doomball, like so, you can have a unit of Minotaur in core. Now, I don't think Minotaur are super great, but if you wanted to run at least one unit of Minotaur, I don't think that's going to hinder you too much. I think they're still pretty fine. You want to play around with Motley Crew. So the way that it works is for armor saves, you take the majority armor save. So you go different armor value. You go half of them, well, all of them have light armor, half of them have shields. This means that you're always getting a 5-up save instead of a 6-up save. For the case of 6 points, I think that's just worth doing. We'll give them full command. And I do like the Banner of Outrage that you've got, not Banner of Outrage, the Beast Banner that you went for, like so. We're going to put the Doomball in there. And if we're going for a Doomball, let's just give them a little bit more juice. So I do like the full plate Chaos Armor. We're also going to give them Gnarled Hide, which gets them to a 3-up save with the full plate and the Armored Hide there. We'll give them a shield in case you need it. But then we can give them something a little bit more interesting. We were looking earlier at what to equip them with. I think I like Axe of Korgor. Just getting like your strength 6 already, so strength 7, AP 2, extra attacks 1. I think this is just solid. You reroll 1s to wound as well. This is just a really, like, I think efficient output. And we're going to give them Gouge Tusks as well. That's just a solid sort of build to go with. You lose the Slug Skin, so you're not -1 to hit, which does suck. But I think this is probably better in terms of the output. In fact, you know what? I think they're both pretty equal. Let's just go Slug Skin, because that's what you'd put in. And you're still pretty beefy there. Then we're going to go a Great Bray Shaman, and we're going to go a level 4 Wizard, and we're going to give them the Hag Tree Fetish, because as you pointed out, it is very good. It just gives you answers into things that your list might struggle into generally. I like giving it Heavy Chaos Armor and a Power Scroll. I think that's just a good loadout. You get to cast through Magic Resist once per game, you know, with a little bit of success, and it gives you some choices there. Now, you can go Demonology for Steed of Shadows. I don't hate that. I like Elementalism as my go-to spell lore because you're already using a signature spell, so you don't care that Stormcall is terrible. Plague of Rust is really good for Beastmen. Summon Elemental Spirits is fine. It's a vortex that moves randomly but doesn't hit you, so it's pretty okay. Earthen Ramparts for a ward save is decent as well. Wind Blast is nice. And TMP is sometimes good. So this is just a good thing to put in. You have to have a unit of Gore. So if we're putting on Doomball into the Minotaur herd, generally you want to bunker your characters in the Gore herd. It's the most efficient way to put them, but you know, we don't have to do that. We don't have to be super efficient with everything. We can just build like a Minotaur themed list that is still pretty solid. Additional hand weapons is good here. We'll go Magic Standard. I like the Banner of Outrage to reroll on the leadership test for the Primal Fury. If you get that Frenzy, that's really solid. It's better with the Minotaur herd, but you know, I like the Beast Banner to get them to combat as well. So that's solid there. Into special, Herdstones are really, really good. It's a massive force multiplier. It's 100 points. Whoever controls it at the end of the game gets an extra 200 points. So you can think of it as like a 300 point advantage. There's 100 points less for your opponent to kill, and you gain 200 points if you hold it at the end of the game. Whoever holds it gets magic resist 1, and then you also get a 12-inch bubble of +1 to cast if you control it. Your opponent gets -1 to cast in that bubble. You get -1 to your opponent's leadership for fear, panic, and terror. This one doesn't come up much, but it's nice to have just as a general concept. You get reroll 1s to wound as well in combat. And I think that's everything. I don't think there's anything else that jumps out. Yeah, I think that's all of the rules there. But Hearthstones are fantastic. I really do like them. Dragon Ogres, I think Dragon Ogres are really solid. Having them with great weapons and heavy armor, just 2 units like this, feels good in, Grand Army as well. And then you've got some choices to make. So you can go with the Shartak. The Shartak's cool, or the Shaggoth, sorry. It's cool. It's not the most efficient thing. If you're playing Grand Army, you can do Gigantic Spawn of Nurgle, which are very, very points efficient, in that you've got you've got the random attacks, you've got the random move. The random move is really good because people can't respond to it with charges. If you're Mark of Nurgle, that gives you 5-up breacher, gives you poison attacks as well, which is not too bad. And they've got D6 stomp attacks with AP2 as well. We probably don't fit a second unit of Dragon Ogres in if you're doing that, because you probably want more chaff. The name of the game, in my opinion, for Beastmen is you probably want chaff. I'd also like to have a really cheap Wargore BSB, just to add some consistency to the Gore Herd. Even just going for heavy armor with a charmed shield, like so, and then giving it the Pelt of Midnight so its unit is less vulnerable to being shot. I think this is a really solid loadout for quite cheap. And then in here you could go like, you probably want a unit of Ungor, maybe 12, and then let's also go for a couple of Razor Gore. And how are we going to fit this in? What do we need to shave points for? Because we're 80 points over. The Minotaurs are a lot of points, but that's okay, because they're there to do a job. Maybe we just have to accept that we can't put the Razor Gore in. I really like the Razor Gore, the cheap drops, but maybe we just, in this list, go, let's not worry too much about the Razor Gore, and go with the short bows, something like this. 12 of them, short bows, and we've still got 76 points left. Is there anything that's really important to put in the list? I don't know that there is. I don't know if there's anything that I'm super missing with this list, like other than chaff drops. So maybe we just go 2 units of Ungor like this, and then we drop some Gore to get there. I don't really want to go too low, actually. Hard to fill those last few points here. We could just make this a bigger unit for holding objectives and the like. Something like that feels fine. I may have asked this before in the Discord. Completely forgot my old. Can you bunker a Necro on Nightmare in a Direwolf unit since they're both Cav? Yeah, it should be able to. Nothing stopping Cavalry from joining non-skirmishing other different types of cavalry. Something nice 3D printed WTOs. Yeah, I've got some Nurgle frogs coming, as mentioned. Example list. So then this would be the second sort of list, which I think is just a little bit better overall. It still leans into the Minotaur theme, but it's got some more of the like traditionally good pieces that you get in Beastmen. Give Grand Army a go. Thought I had to run Plateau to run Miners. Oh no! If you make the Doom Bull your general, you can put Minotaurs in core. So I think the Doom Bull's really good, like genuinely competitively good, and I like it more than I like the Beast Lord. But you'll see people running the Beast Lord either for points reasons because it's cheaper, or if they're in Wild Herd where you can't run the Doom Bull. But if you put like this character in the Wargore in the Gore Herd, that's going to get you a lot more value than putting them in the Minotaur turns. So maybe you just like find the points for a 6th Minotaur, run them solo, and then you just put the characters in the Gore Herd and you use that as your like general brick. At which point a level 2 Demonology Wizard with Lore Familiar and a Power Scroll to give them Steed of Shadows and Demonic Vessel to fly around the board is very, very good. Cool. All right, let's round up. We got a couple more lists here. I don't think we've looked at Val's list. I think, yeah, we've got, okay, so let's have a look at this Vampire Counts list. So this is for a tournament. This is Papa Nurgle. This is already ticking the boxes. Okay, love it. So, in general, this is a good list. This is basically doesn't need much tweaking. The Cairn Wraith is optional. It's not needed, but it's not bad. The White Lord is a great loadout. Tomb Banshees are both fantastic. The Mortis Engine non-general character, great, love that. Ruby Ring is not necessary, but it's not bad. Talisman of Protection, Necromancy just feels solid there. Then we've got the level 4 General on Foot, Scepter of Denaro, Spell Familiar, Necromancy. I'd like to see a Skull Staff here, actually. That's what I'd prefer to see. let's just tweak that to a skull staff by taking that off. We can still keep the spell familiar. There we go. I think skull staff's really, really good. I'd rather have that than have the ruby ring. I'd like to see the Graveguard go a little bit bigger. Just make them mathematically harder to deal with. Falbats is fine. And the Blood Knights are okay, but you don't really have a way of supporting them. So I'm not saying that you have to take them out, but I think the list is better with a second unit of Hex Wraiths. I'm going to leave them in. No, let's tweak them over. And I'll just at the timestamp. It was about 1 minute 57 that was at Papa Nurgle. 1 hour 57-ish. So this is one where I think the tweaks are off. Worth discussing. So we're going to go with the Hex Wraiths, and you want to go a little bit bigger with them, honestly. Let's go 7. Oh, can we go 7 and 7? Just make it harder for them to get one shot so that you can res them up. Oh, you definitely want the unit champions in there as well, so you can challenge out as needed. I think the Ken Wraith comes out. It's cool, and I like it, but I think I'd rather just have slightly more, like 8 and 7 in the Hex Wraith, I think feels better. And then we just find 4 points from somewhere, which is going to be really hard to do because the list is tight. Honestly, I think the Direwolves are kind of surplus to requirements. I like the Fellbats. I don't care about the Direwolves so much because they can't march. I think they've got reserve move in Vanguard and Open Order. Maybe they stay. Maybe they stay. Charm Shield. No, the Charm Shield on the White Lord is it's as close to necessary as possible. Oh no, you've gone shields. No, we're definitely great weapons. Also, don't worry about the implacable defense. Great weapons is so much better than shields, because you will tank almost anything in the game anyway. But then you'll slap back and you will do so much more damage. So if we take off shields here, if you can't change it, then that is what it is. They're still going to be incredible, but yeah, definitely recommend going for great weapons over shields. I think we accept that we're going to do that, and then we just put 1 less Graveguard and 2 more zombies in, and that probably gets us there. But yeah, I like the Blood Knights. I just don't think that they make it into this list because you don't really have the support for them. You don't have anything that can fly around behind them while also supporting the big Graveguard brick. I think this great weapon is surplus to requirements as well. I could have just cut that. Yeah. And then we go. I like that more. Let me just edit it here. Yeah, there we go. That feels better. And that's basically just, not quite but almost Charlie's list. But there's a reason that he does very well with it. It's a great list and he plays it very well. Okay. Let's go back to Renegade Crowns. So, this is Val's Renegade Crowns list, and this was the one that I started reading and then realised what it was. Slow grow hobby project with lots of conversions. Withers each join Outriders as extra firepower. Dark Magic Caster is mostly for battle-lusting the Knights or other units about to charge. The Outriders have a decent output with the Battle Lust and Demonic Vigor. BSP with Knights. Okay. So, triple wizard. Demonology, Dark Magic, Demonology. Okay, so the Demonology wizards are going... okay, I get it. More output. So they're going for the summoning and then hoping to roll into Demonic Vessel, I guess, because it gives them extra AP on their attacks. Strength 1 and Demonic Vessel. No, it's the Strength here. So it's still Strength 4, but it's AP 2. Okay. Wizard Staff, Ring of Ruin. So that gives us an extra +1 to cast. So we're casting at +3. That feels good. Have we got a Wizard Staff in both of them? Oh, yeah, you've gone for the Twin-Tailed Wand. This is a really spicy build. So for anyone who hasn't seen the Empire items for a while, this lets you cast one of your spells twice. However, should they miscast, they suffer D3 wounds with no armor or regen saves. Now, this will probably kill you. On average, this just kills you because you don't have a ward save. However, it means that you're not going to miscast and stop yourself from casting more spells. So It's maybe better. It's probably not better. That's maybe cope. And this gives you +1 to cast. So you're casting the summoning twice per turn at +3, which I think is pretty decent. And then this one's casting it once per turn at +3 with a ruby ring. So we've got 4 magic missiles here, which is pretty damn good. This character's doing Battle Lust, which I like. And then we've got Headsman Axe, Charm Shield on foot character. Do we need the Headsman's Axe? So you've only got 3 attacks. I just don't know that the points are worth spending on it. But also it's more for a slow grow league. So it's more, I guess, it's not super competitive. I just don't think 45 points for a magic weapon on a Renegade Prince is worth the points because they're so absolute booty cheeks in combat. I think we just go Talisman of Protection more than anything else. It's your general, so giving them more ability to not fall over feels pretty decent. And then we could give them a Morning Star. You can always use your hand weapon and shield if you want to. Oh, you don't need to. Yeah, so you may as well go for a better one-handed weapon. That feels okay. Yeah, that's fine, I think. Renegade Captain, Banner of Shalons to turn off standard shoot. Okay, cool. Lance, full plate, no shield. Charm Shield. Antlers of the Great Hunt. Isn't that +1s? No, this is move through cover, right? Okay. This is fine. I don't care for it too much, but it's not bad. Then we've got the Free Blade Knights in a Lance. I really want to play with some Lance Free Blade Knights. I think that's just an interesting approach. Outriders with Bracer Pistol, Heavy Armor Shields, Famed Flight Reserve move. Yeah, I like these units as well. Then the Veteran Sellswords. I'd like this to be a little beefier. That's my main complaint with the list. This is just not beefy enough. Full command with a War Banner. Halberds. I think... Yeah, we don't bother with halberds. We just got a hand weapon shield here. You're only here for combat res, realistically, in my opinion. You haven't got any... Like, you haven't got a Demonology caster to make them better. I think we just go... Like 29 without halberds, as opposed to, I think it was 24 with. That feels better. Renegade Crowns are so cool. Kind of stole the show on that Arcane Journal. Agree. Yeah, it's a really, really fun concept. And I've been just sort of like sat thinking about it. It's like the back when I used to play Path of Exile. At this, like in the run up to a new 3-month league, there would be the GIF that went round, which was the clip from South Park, but they put over all of the different builds that they were trying to do, and it's like, no, someone's already thought of that. That's how I feel when I'm thinking about Renegade Crowns. But yeah, I think this is a slightly tweaked version on the concept, and I hope that is helpful for you, Val. There's so many Vals on this Discord. Okay. Okie dokie. Where were we up to? We've got Royal Clans, we've got Skaven. Let's have a look at Skaven. Bavians, Skaven. So you can do, yeah, I'm very tempted to do them at some point in the not too distant future. Hello Ed, I was wondering what a post 1.5 Skaven list might look like. You have fixed this list once before, but that was pre 1.5. I've added more clan rats. What do you think? Not a fan of clan rats in general. I'm assuming this isn't renegades. It doesn't say. Oh no, it does say it is renegades. Okay, so the Storm Vermin are good. So if we're going Storm Vermin, we're going Demonology. We're flying around the map with Steed of Shadows and Demonic Vessel. We've got the Warlord with the Fellblade. We've got the Banner of Verminous scurrying. We've got a Chieftain, Heavy Armor, Halberd, Cautious Shield, Talisman of Protection. Great. Love all of that there. Then we've got a level 1 Warp Block Pistol. Yeah, cool. The characters are great. I love the characters. I genuinely don't think there's any tweaking to be done apart from... No, you can't even give it a Charm Shield. I think the characters are pretty much perfect. I guess this doesn't need to be level 4 is my only point. It can be level 3 and you're as happy because there's not 4 good spells in Demonology. It is still Demonology though. Weird that you can't select a law without being... That's whatever. I think we're going Battle Magic on the Warlock Engineer, though. Because if you roll into Fireball, you take that instead of taking the, the Warp Magic, Warp Lightning. Yeah. Clan Rats, Rattling Gun, Rattling Gun. These are fine as objective holders. I don't hate them. And then we got the Storm Vermin. I think this list just feels okay. I think it's fine. Like, it's basically just the Storm Vermin are going to do the heavy lifting. Armor of Meteoric Iron. Is that good? I mean, I almost wonder if I'd rather have the Cautious Shield on this model. Getting it to a 2-up save. Maybe just give it at least a Charmed Shield. I know it doesn't improve its armor. At which point, you may as well not go with the Armor of Meteoric Iron, because you can just have... For 5 points, you get a 3-up save, which into almost everything is as good or better than a 5-up save that isn't reduced. Hoping the Rattlings are going to do some listing. Oh, is this your list, Christian? Yeah, I think Rattling Guns are fine. I don't hate them. And also you've got some scoring units here. They are pretty okay. The Gutter Runners, I think, are okay as well. I don't hate them. They don't do a huge amount, but they're fine. And they're ambushes, so they can come in the back line. So they're not awful. Yeah, characters are great. The Storm Vermin I like. Clan Rats are fine. There's no command on them. I think in 1.5 I'm putting command on them. Because they're a little bit harder to deal with. Because they've got the light armor and shield, they've got a 4-up save. They're a little bit harder just to get rid of. And then that gives us 12 points left to spend. And we don't really feel like we're missing much. Is it 15 points for a Warblock token? Warpstone token? It is 15. There's nothing in the game that's good for 10 points, is there? Earthing Rod. I don't hate that. Just, if you've ever got 5 points spare, an Earthing Rod is solid. We've got 7 points to go. I mean, just one more model, maybe? And you can use that to be in marching column. No, you can't use that. You'd have to be 26. Talking out my backside. Oh! This character needs a shield. Let's give him a charm shield. There we go. Yeah, that looks great. I like the list. I think this is about the best that you can get with Skaven. There's an argument for maybe looking at the not rat ogres. Hellpit Abominations, because they're random move, but I don't know that they're good enough. I'd have to re-look at the actual unit. Let's type Demonology on there, because it didn't apply. But yeah, okay. Not far off. Not far off. Last but not least, we have got a Royal Clans list. The last list is more dwarves, which I am on board with. Let's have a look here. So it is... I think it's a pretty standard list. Warp Lightning Cannons have done far better to me in rate than Hellpit Abomination so far. Yeah, that makes sense. You're welcome, Christian. Oh, I thought in rate makes sense, like point for point as well. So, Nick's list, we've got the Longbeards, who have Rune of Battle, Rune of Courage, full equipment, love that. The Quarrelers, who are fine. I don't love Quarrelers. I'm pretty underwhelmed. I'd rather have Longbeards. Not Longbeards. I'd rather have... Oh, you can't have Rangers because it's Royal Clans. Royal Clan Warriors are fine. Rune of Passage for 5 points is, like, super okay. Drilled and Stubborn. Yeah, that is decent. Oh, you definitely want a Standard Bearer on there, though. And ideally you want Rune of Battle. So we've got Rune of Battle and Rune of Courage. Rune of Courage. Yeah, we can go Rune of Battle on this. Amazing. It also really wants Rune of Courage. How do we get there? We have to spend a lot of points to get there. I really want to spend a lot of points. Maybe we're putting... Hold on. So what do we got? How many courage have we got? So I think... So we go Rune of Battle, Rune of Courage. Rune of Battle. Who the hell is the Thane? Like the BSB joining? So we're putting courage on this character. Boom. We're taking courage off the Longbeards. Boom. And we're putting the courage on the Warriors. There we go. Nailed it. Nailed it. Boom. Love that for us. Much better. Bowman's Cart, Grudge Thrower. One Grudge Thrower probably doesn't do much, but I also don't hate seeing it. The Iron Drakes with a Rune of Courage only feels fine as well. I'm probably not bothering with the Trollhammer Torpedo. I'd rather just have the Musician. And yeah, like this is just going to do more for you, I think, realistically. You just go for a Drake Gun. Cool. And then characters, you've got Smiting Grummel, Preservation, Furnace. Good setup for the King. Grogney Battle, Courage, Preservation. Yeah, sure. So the Thane's really hard to kill as well. This Thane, Rapid Fire, double Rune of Spellbreaking. Got a lot of Rune of Passages. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you've got 3 Runes of Passages. One goes... I don't know that you need a Rune of Passage. I mean, it is only 5 points. I assume it's for modelling purpose, but why isn't a Smith BSB? So the Thane is on Shield Bearers, which gives it a lot more wounds. I actually really like the Shield Bearer Thane. The downside does come in when you try and fit it in with the King in terms of the frontage. So you'd have to be 6 models wide to have, which is not too bad actually. Yeah, that's reasonable. That's fine. Yeah, okay, that feels alright. So we're 35 points over. We need to drop something. I think. I mean, I guess we're not dropping the Quarreler points. We're not dropping that. We're not dropping that. So I guess it's just Longbeards. Drop a couple of models. I don't really want to drop 3 here. We could just go 18-18. That gives us 10 points to play with. 18 Longbeards is still enough, I think, pretty comfortably. It does give us 10 points to play with. I feel like maybe we don't need a second Rune of Spellbreaking here. I'd rather have Rune of Calm, honestly. Master Rune of Calm and a Rune of Spellbreaking. How many points does that put us at? 15 over. I really don't want to go down to 17. 17 feels pretty rough. I don't want to go down to... Maybe, like, this one just loses its Rune of Spellbreaking, because it's going to be at the back of the board, I'm pretty sure. This is the one that joins the Quarrelers. I think. I think that's correct. So... yeah, maybe we just go down this line. And the Rune of Calm will do more for you than the Rune of Battle. But yeah, I think, like, I don't really want to change the makeup of the list too much. It's just sort of fiddling around with various bits and pieces. And I think this feels fine. And it's got... I'm just not a huge fan of the Quarrelers. I don't think they're doing a huge amount, especially if you're not running Burlock Daminson. I think that is something that's just a little bit more limited than you want it to be. Ballistic Skill 3 is just not great for the amount of points you pay. But then again, I'm excited about Renegade Crowns with their heavy armor and shield and handgun. So maybe I'm talking about my backside. Maybe it is good. Hey, thank you, Callum.
Meow meow my oh 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 ying instructions are not very good.
That was almost musical. Maui Ying instructions are not very good. That's my first, I think, proper spam TTS message. Excellent. I feel honoured. Thank you so much. Well, that's a shame because I've got one to build, not for myself. So that's gonna be a fun challenge when I get to it. Maybe I'll start over this weekend. I need to build 2 balloons and Maui Ying, which I haven't had time to start because I haven't been able to sit down more than anything else. So, yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for me. I must use all letters. You must use all letters. Oh, is it limited on how many letters you can do? You're amazed you've never done before. Yeah. That's fair. I'm a little amazed as well. Balloons are genuinely fun. Okay, great, because I've got 2 of those to build and only 1 Maui Ying, so I can live with that a little bit more. I can not cry too much there. Perfect. Well, that takes us to the end of a Fix My List. It was nice to be back. I'm in a comfortable chair. I've got more space behind me. I just get to relax and talk about lists. It is the fun time. They're not for me, Andreas. I'm building them for someone else. That sounds like oh no, it's not mine. It's for a friend. but it genuinely is not for me. Cool. Well, that takes us to the end of the return of Fix My List. I want to get back to doing these more regularly. I have an event next weekend that I'm not going to paint a lot for, so I should be fine. I have got an event the weekend after, which I will be streaming. I need to get everything set up for that, but the Saffron Slam Teams event I will be covering on camera. I am in the process of getting all of the bits together for it, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forwards to that. And yeah, after that, I'm not really doing much on Fridays, so I'm pretty chill. Thank you all for being here. Rat Bastard, Pestigora Joy, I appreciate that. But yeah, let's get to it. I'll be back at some point. What's the footage at me at the top tables?